Enjoy.
Thank you, Corbin. Clint Wilden with you at Adelaide Oval alongside Aaron Bryans, our experts Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy, as the two of the unbeaten sides in the competition go head-to-head. Fremantle and Carlton, the Dockers, it's their home game. They're wearing what they call their stealth jumper, the same they wore last year in Gather Round, predominantly black with a little splash of purple. Carlton in the all-white, apart from the royal blue, the navy blue, I should say, shoulders. Both teams out on the ground. If you're just joining us, no late changes. Jager O'Meara, the sub for the Fremantle Dockers. For Carlton, it's Matt Owies. If one of these sides can do the Ted Lasso and get the big sign that says believe and slap it above the change room, they can do so if they win today to go 4-0. Toss of the coin has just taken place. It's been won by the Blues, and Patrick Cripps, who has had an almightily busy week already with the birth of his daughter. Congratulations, Cody, making her way into the world this week. Won the toss for the Blues and pointed to the northern end of Adelaide Oval. Mark, Lids, who wins and why?
Good question. I'm unsure, to be honest, at the moment.
Couldn't tell you.
I'm really looking forward to watching two teams who are in great form. I think Fremantle's probably had better form going into this game, to be honest. I think Carlton's first game was obviously huge, winning up there at the Gabba against Brisbane. They played a half football, really, and were able to win that. They just got over the line against Richmond and then did enough to beat North Melbourne last week. So it's certainly going to be one of their bigger tests for the season. I just love the way in which Fremantle, their midfield, have been operating at the moment. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of their young stars go about. I love the inclusion of Hayden Young through the middle there.
Yep.
I think they all complement each other really well when you've got a Nat Fyfe and a Caleb Tarong who's been dominating, and a Brayshaw as well. It's a pretty stacked midfield with their superstar ruck Luke Jackson in the midfield. So it's going to be a great challenge for both clubs.
Geez, you didn't even give me a chance to give my tip, mate. You kept going on and on and on there, but that's okay. I think the Blues will get it done today. The Dockers have really overachieved for mine at this point in time in the season. I didn't expect them to be so good, but the Blues for me over here at how beautiful is this ground? Unbelievable. I'm bored into this Gather Round after walking across. It was awesome.
It's great. It's a great feel around town, isn't it? And I think Carlton will be too strong today as well.
Can Carlton win for the first time at this venue? Can the Dockers go 4-0 for just the second time in their history? Let's find out. Here's Aaron Bryans.
High bounce in the middle. De Koning wins it down for the Blues. Young will reach there first. Wheels it in with one arm as it trickles its way towards the attacking 50 for Carlton. Elijah Hollins taps it down to De Koning. Scrub the kick, and it's smothered out towards the outer side. Picked up by Brayshaw. Had a runner out. Releases Banfield. Bit of time to think about his disposal for Fremantle. Hooks it inside. A little bit too long for Switkowski. Walters was at the back under a bit of pressure. Jackson comes to try and aid him. Runs past the footy. Walker now caught between a couple of Blues. Manages to get a handball out, but coughs it up to Sard. He gives it straight back. Brayshaw barrelling his way through at centre half forward. Retreats back to Walker. Now out wide to Clark. Can lower the eyes inside 50. And the wide kick finds Taberner. 48 out from home. Tight angle on the right.
Well, just really good pressure there early days from Fremantle, not allowing Carlton to get their handball game up and going. A couple of matchups. We see Alex Pearce taking the big job of Harry Mackay. It'll be interesting to see how he can do that. A lot been made of that matchup all week, I think.
Taberner wants to share the load. It was an awful kick over the head of Amos, and at the back, the intercept mark we thought would be taken by Williams. He's called to play on. He hands it off to Sard. The exit comes for Carlton out towards left half back. Spoilt away there from Kennedy. Just jammed on the boot by James H. Back home in South Australia towards the 50. Williams lost it in the sun. Comes to Frederick, who snaps from 35 and misses to the left-hand side. Fremantle hit the scoreboard first. Took 80 seconds to get there. They lead by a point.
Carlton bring it up. Short up the corridor. Sard. McGovern. He goes short again. This is Williams. Player a moment ago who thought he'd had the mark. Must have been touched by Aish on the way through. Again up the corridor. Cripps marks and sends the Blues to the outer side. Backing back, Hollins takes the mark. He's got an option to go to Kemp, who ran by. Instead, not a great kick inboard to Wiedering. It's bounced. Play on the call. Under pressure from Fredericks. Has to go back quickly to Oliver Hollins, and then he'll move it short again and finds Kemp, who marks on the logo or just outside the logo on centre wing, outer side of the ground. He's got the green boots on. Does look odd to see Fremantle in the significantly darker strip than the Blues in the white kit. And the kick is towards right half forward, and a great fly from Luke Jackson. What a start to the season he's been having for Fremantle. Jackson moves it towards left half back and a chance to set up again. Here's Jordan Clark.
Speaking of excellent starts to the season, Clark averaging 26 touches a game. Finds Aish, defensive edge of the square. They'll look to switch through the defensive 50 to Draper in just his third game. The Academy product spots Ryan. Floating through right half back on the broadcast side. Kick perfectly weighted over the top to Brayshaw. He had Akers right beside him. They've got some space just behind centre wing. Slow approach for the Dockers at the moment. They move it up to right half forward. Taverner may have been held by McGovern. Certainly played for it. Clears the pack at the back. Just jammed onto the boot by Newman. A high footy. Back where it came from. Mackay's outnumbered and crunched by Pearce with the fist. Spills down to Fife. Handball off to Clark. Didn't have as much time as he thought trying to break away. Got it to Young, who's bowled over in a tackle as he got a kick. Switching it out to the outer side. Tumbling its way to Banfield. He gathers close to the boundary line. Looks into the left forward pocket for Fremantle. And Tracy got some space on Kemp. Excellent body work and clunks it.
Yeah,
40 out.
It was great body work. He just hit Kemp when he wasn't really expecting the contact and just got him offline and took a pretty easy grab. But they're really spreading the ground at the moment, aren't they, Fremantle? They're holding great width and really trying to break open the Carlton zone at the moment.
5 straight for the year, Josh Tracy. This might be the most difficult of them all. From 48 out on the tight angle, he's missed in the first blemish of the 2024 campaign for him. Fremantle up by 2 points, Carlton yet to score. 4 minutes into the opening term. This is Gather Round on ABC Sport.
Young Draper getting the job on Charlie Curnow. He'll have his hands full today. He's got his running boots on.
McGovern went short to Wiedering, who was unsure where to go, and he'll send it towards left half back. It's a low flat kick that was marked by Newman. Had to be precise. The other 24 in Amos right nearby. Newman for the Blues comes to the commentary wing, leaping up. Fife got a touch on it, couldn't knock it down though. Came to Akers, then moves it again on to Hewitt. Now it's with Mackay at left half forward for the Blues. He'll steer the ball back inboard, taken near the attacking point of the centre square by Cripps, towards full forward, at the back, and then tackled the ground just as he thought Fantasia was about to get away. He got run down. It's going to be a ball up. Terrific work from Walker. Fantasia back here at Adelaide Oval. Had some time here, of course, with Port Adelaide most recently as Jackson won it down. Cripps got a hand pass out, though he sharked it. Blues with an opportunity. No, not quite, as Clark was met high, was he, by Hewitt. Ducking into the tackle, trying to lift the arm, and the umpire wasn't buying it. Will be balling it up inside forward 50 in the left forward pocket for Carlton.
De Koning and Jackson collide again. The Carlton ruck wins out, tapping it towards goal. Brayshaw was waiting back. Playing more wing this season. Gets another touch early though. He's been lively. Looking for Walters, who flew above the pack but couldn't claim it. Spills to Chera. Rush kick from 40, and he punishes his old side. The Blues have the opening major. The goal umpire isn't convinced. Looks like we're going upstairs.
Oh, of course we are. They don't tend to back themselves too much, the old goal umpires, anymore, do they?
Well, they're very nervous too here at Adelaide Oval, aren't they?
Yeah. Certainly that part of the ground,
yeah. It was just probably a little bit too central, that exiting kick from Brayshaw, wasn't it? Didn't quite get it out towards the boundary, but a great spoil from Newman to keep that ball alive, not allow one of the key forwards from the Dockers to take a big mark, kept the ball alive, and Chera just swooped on it. I don't think we've even seen the best of him just yet. He's played some great footy already for Carlton, but still really developing as that young mid. Love the way he goes about his footy, wins it inside and wins it out. Looks like we're going to get that the all clear.
They were checking to see if it touched the padding, but the edge says no dice. Carlton have the first major of the opening term. 1 straight 6, Fremantle 2 behinds. 6.5 into the opening quarter. Great to have you with us. The Saturday footy in Adelaide on ABC Sport. Aaron Bryans, Clint Wilden, a couple of number 1 draft picks in Brett Delidio, Mark Murphy.
Yeah, it was a great ball win by Adam Chera, just at the right time there, front and centre. Just really strong over the contest, right through a would-be tackler. And a really classy finish there across his body.
It's a great ball from him too. It was the padding that mattered before.
Yep.
Last year for Adelaide, that padding, that post. This time, pulled correctly through for a goal.
Is it only Adelaide people that care about that, or?
No, the rest of the country is still bewildered by it as well.
Yeah. I'd forgotten about it, man.
I think Adelaide is still
hanging on to it.
well,
Thinking about it
too well this year, have they?
I think Adelaide might be a bit angry about it, but the rest of us are still like, how on earth did that happen? As Jackson won it down straight into traffic. Ball comes out the side. Young picks it up off the deck for Fremantle. With that raking left boot, he kicks towards left half forward. Emmett couldn't get there. One down by Newman. Now a chance for Akers, another former Docker. Looks to move it short. They'll come down through Hewitt to Cripps. Here's Akers again. Tackled by Young. Should have been holding the ball. It is. Free kick to Fremantle. They've got it at left half back. Carlton's lead is 4 points. 8 gone in the first.
Looks to move it towards the centre square. It was a dangerous kick cut off by a couple of Blues. Throw a blanket over them as they try to wrench it out. Brayshaw wins in the end. Through the logo. Handball back towards Walker. Now Clark. Disposal number 5 coming up in the opening 7 minutes. His kick finds Jackson. Hands it off. Running by is Fife, the two-time Brownlow medalist. Spots Hughes on the broadcast wing. Bit of space to get a kick off inside 50. Into the right forward pocket. Amos launched. Couldn't bring it down. Frederick front and square. Spun in the side tackle. Gave it away. Kemp to Wiedering, who can clear for Carlton out towards the broadcast wing.
Umpire spotted a holding decision. It's going Fremantle's way. We come back here to Ethan Hughes, who immediately looks behind him. Ryan was there just towards the boundary of the logo. Commentary wing. Hughes will put it towards full forward. Decent battle here. De Koning won it down, gathered it himself, tackled by Amos. It spilled out. Sard couldn't pick it up for the Blues. Neither could Brayshaw. Still to be won. Hewitt on the deck to shovel it towards the boundary line. Still a decent battle here. Eventually it'll tumble over the line. Brayshaw battling away there against Carroll. It's going to be a throw in here, about 20 out from Fremantle's attacking goal. Carlton have the only goal so far in the game. We've travelled 9 minutes. They're 1 straight 6. The Dockers 2 behind. Ball thrown back in again. De Koning had the touch at the back though. Jackson gathered. Hand pass over his shoulder. Went as far as Hewitt. Shoveled it back inboard. Here's Walters. Always dangerous. Worked it onto Emmett. Emmett for Fremantle. Spins around. Shoots at goal. He gets Rio's first. Delight for Tom Emmett. His first of the season. And a player who has returned to South Australia. He'd have friends and family in the crowd here at Adelaide Oval. He gives the Dockers their first and gives them the lead at the 10-minute mark of the opening term. Fremantle up by 2 points, 1-2-8 to Carlton 1 straight 6. Time to check in downstairs. Liz Walsh is with us on the boundary. G'day, Liz.
Thank you, Clint. Beautiful to be here today. We are just enjoying absolutely perfect conditions down here. Blue skies, no wind. It's currently 22 degrees, just autumnal beauty. The crowd is still building. There's still a few seats in those top stands over there, but the hill's looking quite packed, which is great to see.
Certainly does, doesn't it? There's people everywhere still filing in. Well done, Sonny Walters. Continued the hunt. Little handball out. Good turn from Emmett. Nice snap on goal.
Awkward bounce in the middle. And outside the centre circle, so they'll go again. Had a chance to check out the lawn on the hill, and the curators won't be stoked with what's happening over the past couple of days. It's getting a bit patchy. Bit of a party up there at the northern end. Jackson won it down. Clearance goes Carlton's way. Fogarty only found Aish. Now Ryan sends it to the broadcast swing. Honoured the lead out wide and perfect to Switkowski. He takes it in front of the benches. Umpire wanted him to come back around. Won't matter. He plays on and hits Emmett. Just behind right half forward, the Sturt product. One of 3 South Australian Dockers out there this afternoon. Chips it over the top. Here's Johnson.
They've already looked so dangerous for Fremantle on a few turnovers so far. Just their spread from those turnovers is really catching Carlton off guard at the moment.
The Blues looking to zone rather than man on man, and it's worked this time in the hole. Mackay was all alone but spilt it. Now they're under pressure. Ricochets out to Fife. His handball cut off by Fogarty. Quick kick out from Carroll as it rolls towards centre half back. Clark's there to meet it. Handball back to Young. Bit of time to look around and snap high and wide.
Wow.
Looking for Hughes, but it's out on the full. Free kick to Carlton in front of the Foss Williams stand. They're down by 2 points.
You don't often see that from Hayden Young, renowned for his foot skills. He really just bellied that one, didn't it? And it just got caught on the breeze, it looked like, kept going out of bounds.
Essentially kicked it at a right angle.
Normally backing to kick it through the window of a moving car. That's very un-Hayden Young-like as Carlton bring it back down the outer side. Here's Young again. Stretched out the arm, couldn't quite gather. Neither could Hewitt out of that. Fife could. Gave it to a fellow Docker in Banfield. Now here's the new Docker, kicking it around in Jeremy Sharp. Inside forward 50. Good defensive mark came from Wiedering. Outpointed Tabiner. He's got it for the Blues in the right back pocket, who trail by 2 points. We've gone 12 minutes into the first term. Gather round on ABC Sport.
Wiedering short to Kemp. And then over the top, they get out of defensive 50. Kick finds Boyd. Contract year for the defender, for the Navy Blue. But so far having a pretty impressive campaign. Back to Wiedering as they look to switch now to the broadcast side. McGovern's got a bit of space, can look ahead. Through centre wing he goes. Excellent kick to Akers, who turns, heads into the left forward pocket for Carlton. Mackay's outnumbered and Ryan clashes into him from the back to smash it into the second row. Boundary throwing to come, 45 out, left forward pocket for Carlton. Trailing by 2 at the moment. They're 1 straight 6, Fremantle 1-2-8, 13 minutes into the opening term.
Ball spun back in, Jackson front position, palmed it down for Fremantle. De Holland's got a little tap back, but it's met immediately by the Dockers, and then it's going to be thrown into the ground. Strong tackling, Kennedy one way, Akers the other, wrapped up Clark. Ball up at left half forward for Carlton. Jackson again gets there, got a fingertip to it. Kennedy going through, looked to soccer it off the ground, only as far as Clark, gathered it beautifully. Hurried kick wasn't great, Switkowski couldn't pick it up. Boyd could, has it at left half forward. Back to Chera, now to Wiedering. Long kick inside the attacking 50. They fly from everywhere, no mark taken. Mackay was front position. Fremantle wanted to holding the ball here against Carroll, who's well wrapped up from Ryan. Spills out to Johnson, kicks beyond defensive 50. Tracy stretching's been held. He'll get the free kick at right half back. There's a vast majority of Blues fans in at the Adelaide Oval, and they weren't happy about that decision. With Fremantle having the ball, and they lead by 2 points. We've gone 14 minutes into the first.
What do they do tomorrow, Clint? They wouldn't want to go watch Richmond or Collingwood, you'd think, the Navy Blue fans. Tracy up the broadcast wing. Amos at the front of the pack claims it. Turns, spots a target inside 50. Gone the wrong way of Banfield. Was charging into the right forward pocket. Won't matter because he's been held. Free kick to Fremantle. Ollie Holland's the offender. And Bailey Banfield, 25 outside angle to the right, has a chance to put Fremantle up by 8.
Yeah, well, you called it, Aaron. He did put that to the wrong side. Didn't really favour Banfield, but he's such a strong body that Ollie Hollands just had to grab. And as soon as you put your arms around, you're in trouble. That's all the umpires are looking for in that marking contest. Arms around, blow the whistle, free kick, shot on goal.
4-1 for the year, Bailey Banfield. Methodical approach, gets close to the man on the mark. It won't impede him. Straight over the goal umpire's hat at the Riverbank stand ends. Bailey Banfield has his first of the afternoon, and Fremantle are up by 8. 2-2-14 plays 1 straight 6, 15 minutes into the opening term. It's Gather Round on ABC Sport. Your experts, 500 games plus combined. Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy.
Yeah, it was really good work rate in the end by Fremantle. A lot of their forwards got really high up the ground and then had a lot of space out the back, and Bailey Banfield ran from this onside wing to create that contest and create an option for his teammate ahead of the football. It's very glary out there at the moment, so catching a lot of players off guard in the contest going towards the city end here in Adelaide. But they're picking them apart a little bit at the moment.
Yep.
Fremantle really well organised in defence, but the way in which they're moving the ball as well, they're really stretching Carlton's defence.
Back in the middle for the restart. Tracy against Mackay. They've got a telling tap. Comes out eventually to Mackay, who picks it up for the Blues. And Chera. No, he's hit solidly. Mackay goes down. Tracy's got him. The ball's there for Carlton. It comes to Cripps. Great smother from Sarong. Dived over the football. It spills out the side for the Dockers. Johnson pops it out in the direction of Sharp, who takes the mark. Keep an eye on that replay, gents. See if there's anything untoward in it. As Fremantle move it towards Johnson from hard up against the boundary. Kicks back towards Tracy. Tracy for the Dockers looks to switch play. It's a beautiful kick out to the logo on the commentary wing, and it's marked there by Ryan. He'll trot back just to assess the options. He'll go short now to Sarong. It's his first disposal for him, and it's not a good one for someone, again, normally so good by foot. Elijah Holland had it across half back. He went short to Mackay, who is okay. He moves it on towards Cottrell, and Cottrell marks just shy of the logo in front of the Max Bashir stand for Carlton.
Just the 8 touches last week, hoping to make an impact in this contest in Adelaide, and it's poor disposal. Straight down the throat of Alex Pearce at left half back, who's fresh off demolishing Adelaide last week. Handballed it off to Aish. Short kick wasn't the required 15 to Hughes, so he rushes it back. Now Aish up towards centre wing on the outer side. Emmett probably should have taken it in front position, put it down and immediately tackled. We'll get a ball up just wide of the logo in front of the Max Bashir stand. As Liz mentioned earlier, perfect conditions for Saturday afternoon footy. Sydney winners earlier by 26 points over the Eagles. Out of the stoppage, Cripps' handball, a turnover. Now Aish thrusts it up towards left half forward. Taberner caught behind Wiedering. There's a hold amongst it at his right arm. Free kick to the 4-time All-Australian. Carlton a bit unsure of themselves moving the ball forward at the moment. Defensive kick to Kemp. Back to Wiedering. It's racking up the numbers here. Wiedering, disposal number 9 incoming, but he's lost a bit of ground in that back and forth. Opens the angle a bit. Long ball up towards centre wing. Front position Cripps. Spoiling it, Sarong. Knocked it into the Fremantle advantage. Sharp. Tried to hit Pearce. A little bit wide. Switkowski happy to mop it up for him. Back to Sharp. Now Johnson. Directed by Sarong to go long, so he does just that. A booming kick. Amos tried to launch. Kemp stood his ground and assured he didn't get any hang time and cuts it off with the intercept mark for Carlton.
Oh, elects to go short, had to be precise, it was, and Brayshaw gave a little nudge too, just to make sure Kennedy was all aware of it. Still inside his defensive 50, it's another short foot pass into the right back pocket to Williams. Former Giant who missed all of last season with the ACL. Red boots on, the Blues in their predominantly white uniform, but with the dark navy blue shoulder. It's towards the outer wing. That's a good mark, I thought, to Tracy. It's been paid. Took a while to see the umpire. You heard the whistle as well, but had enough purchase on the football. Tracy for the Dockers, sent it towards Walters. Sard closing down, won it beautifully, tapped it into the ground, handed it off. Holland goes long inside forward 50. Mackay marks, turns, drops the football. They almost butchered it. Another chance, Mackay. Blues, how they not kicked the goal. Desperate stuff from the Dockers second time, but it was all there. Mackay had it. He looked to turn. All he had to do was drop it on his foot. He just dropped the football.
Oh, dear.
Oh, what an opportunity. Butchered. The ball to be thrown up. Again, players pile over the top of it. We'll ball it up once more. He's got rid of the yips, Harry Mackay, but he's still got to hang on to the football and then drop it onto your boot.
He's got the butterfingers now, Clint. Tossed up right forward pocket. Cripps there. Knocked it out towards Hollands. Quick kick, just about 3 metres to Tracy, who shanked it. Just caught the side of the boot as he looked to launch it out of defensive 50. He's hit it out on the full and handed it over to Matthew Cottrell. 45 out from goal. Tightest of angers will start from the fence.
There's a good lesson in that for all young blokes. Don't try and kick torpies out of defensive 10.
In your back pocket, I wouldn't have thought. These pockets are pretty open here. Like, it's not the hardest shot here at Adelaide Oval. Pretty open pockets.
Cottrell wheels in from the boundary, just can't squeeze it through. Minor score on the left-hand side for Carlton. Their first blemish of the afternoon, 1-1-7. They trail Fremantle 2-2-14. Time on in the opening term. Great to have you with us on ABC Sport. Aaron Bryans, Clint Wilden, Brett Delidio, Mark Murphy and Liz Walsh with you.
Still trying to get over Harry Mackay. It's not a miss because he didn't get boot to ball. Ryan sends it towards the outer side of the ground. Punch forward by Wiedering. Sarong got there. Got a hand pass away to Banfield. Moves it on to Brayshaw. Kicks the Dockers towards the logo. Running by Walters. Trying to tap it to his own advantage once and twice and had Wiedering right with him. Wiedering's done well because Walters is so cagey in those circumstances. They see the ball out for a throw in here, the Blues. It's at right half forward for Freo.
Hasn't missed a beat, Wiedering. Already up to the 9 touches. 8 of those kicks at 88%. Single-handedly keeping the Blue Boys in this one at the moment. Spun
back in to Koning. Palmed it down with 2 hands, but straight to 5. Back to Banfield. Nottington to Clark. Wobbles a kick inside forward 50. Marked defensively there by Boyd. He'll move the Blues on quickly towards right half back.
Spots Fogarty alone just behind centre wing. Time to turn and hit up a target. To right half forward he goes, looking for Durden. A little long. Ryan was waiting at the back. Hands it off to Hughes. Lowers the eyes to Aish. Defensive edge of the square. Front of the Gavin Wanganeen stand. They'll switch through defensive 50 now, the Dockers. Ryan starting to accumulate a fair bit of the footy. Disposal number 6. Long ball out towards the broadcast wing. Found Banfield darting and weaving his way around to Coney. Hands it off to Clark. Takes a bounce in front of the benches. Frederick now available over the top. Woodville West Torrens product. Tried to get around Wiedering. Ran out of room. Gives it away. Carlton now on the counter. Boyd off to Carroll, loops it over the top looking for De Koning, a little wide for the ruckman who couldn't get low to ground to gather. Banfield falls into the back of his opponent trying to gather. Fantasia squashed amongst it, spills to De Koning, a worm burner up towards the 50. Curnow couldn't get low enough to gather, under a bit of pressure as well, he gives it away. And Fremantle now through Young, who hits up Clark. His 10th touch incoming in this opening term.
A bit worrying signs for Carlton at the moment. They're just breaking down across 50 to 70 out. They just can't get that option available, and they've got some stars down there. They need to start working harder.
Clark went looking for Sarong, and Shearer, his former teammate, got in the way, knocked it over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Well, there's enough pressure on the ball to make it hard for Harry and Charlie to get separation. But the defensive work of Pearce and Young Draper has actually been really good.
Throwing in right half forward for Fremantle. Tracy did the ruck work down to 5. Hand pass meant to release Frederick. It's more interested in Hewitt than anything else, and Hewitt was able to gather. Got it onto McGovern, the Blues. Kick towards the logo commentary side. Good body work from Curnow. Took the mark, running by Kennedy. Receives it for Carlton. Puts it towards full forward. A one-on-one battle. Ryan versus Cripps. Going back, Hughes tries to lend some support for the Dockers. Calling out of bounds on the full. Cripps, he thought it had come off Hughes' leg. The umpires will speak to each other. Cripps is absolutely determined to let everybody know it's come off Hughes' leg. The umpire said, let's all just calm down for a moment.
I think Paddy Cripps lucky to not get away with a hold on Ryan there. Had a fistful of jump up, but they're probably both, to be honest with you, holding one another.
We decided we'll just throw it in.
Front position De Koning, got in front of Jackson, knocks it down looking for Shearer, a little wide of him in the end and ran past the footy. De Koning gets another chance, diving into it, but can't reel it away. Banfield jams it on the boot out towards the outer wing. Bouncing in plenty of space. Sharp has some time to gather. Closing him down. Williams, full 360 in the spin cycle. Affected the disposal. Walker now under a bit of pressure. Left it behind. Holland's got the tap from Durden. That's Elijah, but couldn't get boot to ball. Sharp picks it up on the boundary line. Hands it off towards Hughes. Looks to switch. And Ryan's waiting at the top of the defensive goal square for the Dockers. Here comes a long ball. Tracy far from home, presenting through centre wing. Clunks it unopposed at right half back. Clark riding shotgun, received the footy on the handball and now hits up Jackson on the logo.
Fremantle's lead 7 points, 25 gone in the first as Jackson moves it towards right half forward. Receiving it, Switkowski back to Jackson, runs the 50 out, measures a kick towards 5, got collided with by Curnow. Ball spills to ground, Fife got it again, not a great hand pass meant for Jackson. Blues had numbers around this, trying to knock it out the back of a ruck. Boyd is in amongst it, hand pass only went to Switkowski, back to 5, he's well tackled, that's holding the ball. Fantasia's got him. And he'll get the free kick for Carlton inside their defensive 50, and he'll move it short again as the Blues look to bounce back. Here's Cottrell.
Race towards Emmett. Under a bit of pressure, got the kick away.
Good catch.
Excellent delivery.
Beautiful kick, wasn't it?
Fogarty floated across in the air. As the diving slip, reeled it in, gave it back to Fantasia, who kept running, and speared it in to Patrick Cripps.
Well, it was a beautiful kick by Cottrell. He had basically one option ahead of the football, and that was it. And it was on the inside shoulder of Fogarty because Fremantle had all the space covered. They had everything zoned, and the only option he had was his back shoulder, and he hit it perfectly. And then they got that overlap run, and that's when he can get some 1v1 opportunities. And I think it's a good matchup trying to get Ryan deep with Patrick Cripps at the moment.
The East Fremantle product that so many WA clubs have been trying to get back home. Patrick Cripps. Little hop skip in, leans back on it from 48. Superb! What a finish. Cripps is on the board, and it's back to a 1 point ball game. Carlton 2-1-13, trail Fremantle 2-2-14. 26 minutes into the opening term. Liz Walsh downstairs.
Yeah, we've just had Freo's Matt Taberner on the mats right in front of us having a bit of physio on his lower back. He looks good now. He's headed back out onto the field, but I'll keep a close eye on him.
Talk us through that celebration, Liz.
Yeah. If you're watching here live and you're listening to us or on the TV screen, Paddy Cripps has given it a little rockabye baby. He's obviously just had the little one.
Little daughter Coda this week.
Coda Sophie, yep.
Yeah, we not for me. I wouldn't have done that sort of stuff back then, but great to give him acknowledgement. Probably more so to his partner than anything else. She does all the hard work.
Of course.
Certainly is at the moment. With Patrick here. kicking goals in gather round in Adelaide from the restart. Slap forward out of that by Young, only as far as Cripps. Blues have it now through Sard. Received the hand pass, takes a bounce, got away from Sarong and thumps it towards right half forward. That's a good mark. Clark read it beautifully. 2-on-2 battle out there, and Clark was able to rise and take the mark for the Dockers. He brings it back in to Brayshaw. Fremantle's lead is just 1 point. 27 gone this opening term. And the shadows of quarter time. The Dockers kick to the outer side. Tracy couldn't mark. Spills out the side. And here's an opportunity for Durden. Got it away again. Quickly to Carroll. Puts it inside forward 50. Not a great kick. Pearce bounced in front of him. Brayshaw gathers it. Was taken high. And he'll get the free kick. No doubt about that. Elijah Holland's got him around the neck. Should just about do us towards quarter time as Brayshaw goes back to take his kick from the free.
Losing a fair bit of midfield time this year, Andrew Brayshaw. 79% down to 62, but isn't affecting him this afternoon. Long ball towards the pack. Tracy amongst a flurry of bodies. Couldn't bring it down. Spills to Sharp. Heavy tackle from Williams. No whistle. Play continues, and eventually Durden's escorted over the boundary line. It'll be tossed back in front of the Jack Odie stand. Bit in that one. 1 point game at the moment. Jordan Clark after 12 touches. Lids Murph, how long is he allowed to go unattended?
Well, there's a few of the defenders. Ryan's another one who's getting a fair bit of the ball and starting a lot of their chain. So have to try and man up those two guys because a lot of their offensive work is coming from their half-back flank at the moment.
It is a 1 point ball game at quarter time. Fremantle lead 2-2-14 to Carlton 2-1-13. The Dockers goal kickers Emmett and Banfield, while for Carlton it's Chera and Cripps. And the first time this season Mackay or Curnow haven't kicked a goal in the opening term. Earlier today, Sydney by 26 points over the West Coast Eagles. But as gather round continues, our list of Saturday games, this one and the next, here at Adelaide Oval, the Bulldogs and Geelong to come. The moment here on ABC Sport, Fremantle by a 1 point advantage at quarter time over the Blues. Wherever you're listening on ABC Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on the ABC Listen app, look for the AFL button. This is Gather Round on ABC Sport.
Hello, I'm Patrick Stack, and if you like great stories and you enjoy sport, then I reckon you need ABC Sport Daily in your life.
Shohei Ohtani is in many ways the most incredible baseball player to ever live.
Whereas the atmosphere at these boutique stadiums is always really exciting.
They made a mistake by Tim Zhu, unfortunately, running into Sebastian Fundora's elbow.
It's your daily sports conversation, and it's called ABC Sport Daily. Find us on the ABC Listen app.
You're listening to the AFL Gather Round. AFL. On radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And take us with you on the ABC Listen app.
Brayshaw was waiting back. Gets another touch early though. He's been lively. Looking for Walters, who flew above the pack but couldn't claim it. Spills to Chera. Rush kick from 40. And he punishes his old side. The Blues have the opening major.
Here's Walters, always dangerous. Worked it onto Emmett. Emmett for Fremantle. Spins around. Shoots at goal. He gets Rio's first. Delight for Tom Emmett, his first of the season.
Tracy up the broadcast wing. Amos at the front of the pack claims it. Turns, spots a target inside 50. Gone the wrong way of Banfield. Was charging into the right forward pocket. Won't matter because he's been held. Free kick to Fremantle. Methodical approach. Gets close to the man on the mark. It won't impede him. Straight over the goal umpire's hat at the Riverbank stand end. Bailey Banfield has his first of the afternoon.
Tracy for the Dockers, sent it towards Walters. Sard closing down. Won it beautifully, tapped it into the ground, handed it off. Holland goes long inside forward, 50. Mackay marks, turns, drops the football. They almost butchered it. Another chance, Mackay. Blues, how they not kicked the goal. Desperate stuff from the Dockers second time, but it was all there. Mackay had it. He looked to turn. All he had to do was drop it on his foot. He just dropped the football.
Oh, dear.
Oh, what an opportunity. Butchered.
Fogarty floated across in the air. As the diving slip, reeled it in, gave it back to Fantasia, who kept running, and speared it in to Patrick Cripps. Little hop skip in, leans back on it from 48. Superb. What a finish. Cripps is on the board. And it's back to a 1-point ball game.
The 2024 AFL Gather Round.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
Clint Wilden alongside Aaron Bryans in commentary for the Dockers and the Blues. The Blues have won 6 of the past 7 games between these two sides. A couple of them have been thrillers. This could pan out to be one as well. Speaking of men involved in those games, one of them sits alongside us. Mark Murphy, one of our experts here on ABC Footy. He's alongside Brett Delidio. We still remember that one.
Some good memories. Some good memories playing against Fremantle in those games over there
When you
in the
didn't
West.
get Crowes.
No, that was with crowds, wasn't it?
Yeah,
No, when you didn't have Crowes, Ryan Crowley.
Oh, Ryan Crowley.
We didn't get him. It was a good game to play Freo.
The sweatbands. They just used to follow you around, didn't they? One of the hardest blokes to cop a tag from. How strong was he?
Oh, mate.
He just used to grab your wrists and just hold you down.
I wonder what he had in his black book about you. Because he did have a book about how to go about individual players.
He used to...
He used to talk to you all the
he
time.
used to talk about, why aren't they giving you the ball?
Yeah.
Geez, you're working hard. And he'd be like, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Shut up, Crowes. I'm not your mate. Go away.
Anyway, let's get back to the footy. But I think Carlton well, they're lucky to be in it at the moment, I feel. I reckon they've
been dominated, haven't they, really?
Yeah, they've dominated around the ball. We're looking at the clearances, and it's 10-3, and that's in Fremantle's way. And that's an area of the game that Carlton usually, they win that quite easily. I know Fremantle's got a very, very good midfield. But I reckon the worker and the stoppage at the moment, Carlton need to really lift their game, and then they're spread from there at the moment. They're getting outspread by the likes of Brayshaw. Saronga really hasn't got much of it yet, but Clark's been noticeable, but they're getting a lot of their scoring chains from their halfback flank. They're setting up really well with the Fremantle Dockers at the moment. I think Wiedering is the main difference is why they're not 2 or 3 goals down at the moment. Carlton, he's stopped a lot of balls going inside. They're forward 50 for Fremantle and been really good on the counter-attack. But they're still amongst the game, Carlton, but they certainly need to lift their rating.
Well, I think they'd be pretty happy, Carlton, considering that I don't think they've played that well.
No,
they've gone the other end and probably should be in front, if not for one of the all-time stuff-ups we've seen from Big Harry Mackay. But look, it is a game of Carlton, no doubt that their midfield coach and Vossi be saying, righto, midfielders, you're the boys that have got to start this for us. Let's get some clearances going our way and give our forwards a chance, because it's all been slingshot, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The ability to come off from the work of Wiedering, Sard's intercepted a couple, and Williams, and their ability to come through to get the midfielders more of a look than it has been Harry and Charlie. So they'll be looking to do that, see if they can tighten that up, and away we go.
Voice of Brett Delidio, Mark Murphy alongside him, both former #1 draft picks. Aaron Bryans, well, probably should have been a #1 commentary draft pick. He's got the numbers in front of him.
#1 from the Clint Wilden Footy Factory, I'd like to think. Speaking of, it's great to call with you again, Willie, and I've missed doing this, so reading out some of the stats at quarter time. Fremantle lead disposals 111-89, inside 50s tied at 11 apiece. Free kicks the Dockers' ways 5-2. Carlton lead the hit-outs 8-5, but Luke Jackson's had plenty of the footy with 8 touches of his own. Jordan Clark has 12, leaving all comers. Jacob Wiedering with 9. The most important stat today, Clint, is the winner will go 4-0. 89% of teams who've done that make the top 8.
Here we go. Second quarter underway. Good bounce to the footy too. Jackson flew early, got a fingertip to it. De Koning tapped it down. Hewitt over the top. Non-controlling umpire spotted a holding decision. It's coming back here for Fremantle. It'll go the way of Brayshaw. He'll move it short to Fife, who marks. Thought about playing on. Quickly onto the mark was Sard. Fife for the Dockers. Jill Brownlow medalist, former captain, short to Sarong, who has not had his usual impact so far today. What will he do now? He'll put it long into the right forward pocket. Tracy flew. Couldn't quite get to it at the back, though. Gathered by Jackson. Tries to run it along the ground towards goal. De Koning was back there. Goalkeeper missed his target. Switkowski tries to pounce on it. Williams mops it up for the Blues. Gave it to De Koning. And managed to avert that disaster. The Blues is out towards Curnow. A strong mark between left half back and centre wing out of sight of the ground.
Turns away from Draper. He's held him well in just his 3rd game. Heading towards his towering teammate in Mackay. Pearce knocked it to ground and gets there first, the Dockers skipper. And expertly falls into the footy and knocks it over the boundary line in front of the Foss Williams stand. I was a little worried about those matchups, Murph and Lids, in terms of Draper, the inexperienced defender. But if you actually look at their heights, Pearce and Draper are taller than Curnow and Mackay. We don't know weights anymore, but clearly they've got the aerial advantage. Toss back into play. Jackson wins it down. Walters was there. Smashed in the meat grinder. We'll get a ball up just forward of centre wing.
Just my weekly editorial on this. How ridiculous.
Don't rate it, Clint.
No, it's ridiculous.
It would help to know matchups a little better if we knew
weight
weight
can be
advantage.
a positive. A massive positive.
Jackson down to Sarong, who releases Sharp, takes a bounce just behind right half forward. Will send Fremantle inside 50. He's looking for Tracy. Knocked it away from Tabner in the end. Carlton can swarm. Williams just thrusts it high and long up towards the half-back line. Fife launches, got the sit, couldn't claim it. Staying down was Ollie Hollins, and it fell in his lap. Play on as he hands it off wide to Chera. Dinks it over the top, finds Carroll.
Jai Amos, for example, has put on 7 kilos. That's a great result in an off-season. Well done to him. I should applaud that. This is Hollins. Oliver Hollins spun out of a tackle, got a hand pass away. Oh, that is an absolute horror from Dewitt. He might have got lucky he did. You'll never believe it. A shocking kick has bounced off the legs of Sharp and then ricocheted out of bounds on the full. Oh, Jeremy Sharp, watch out for black cats and ladders tonight. That's the sort of luck he had just then. Blues through Hewitt into the left forward pocket. Big pack up, no mark taken. His knees. Jackson was able to gather. Gave it out to Fife. Spears the pass along the boundary line and Sharp's able to mark. This time collects the footy in his hands. He'll go back to take his kick. Fremantle lead by a point. 3 gone in the second.
On the 45, he moves it to Fife. Happy to take his time at right half back and assess the situation ahead. Presenting is Aish. Right back at home, the son of a gun. Norwood product, James Aish. His dad, Andrew, a McGarry medalist here in the Sandful. Spears it low and hard, a little wide in the end of Sarong. He did well to gather on the bounce. Back to Fife now under a bit of pressure. Turned into the Cottrell tackle in the washing machine. Full 360, caught holding the ball. Free kick, Carlton. Cottrell wanted to give it off to Elijah Hollins. Not enough space, so he opens the ankle. Switkowski dove across and smothered it. Ricochets out, Brayshaw becomes the tackler, and Fremantle's pressure enough to avoid an inside 50 there. They're up by a point, ball up to come inside the centre square.
Well done, Switkowski. It's exactly what he's in this side to do.
Koning and Jackson both had a chance. Comes out for the Dockers. Fife got it originally from Sarong. And now it's popped out to Sharp, who has space to take a bounce. Takes a second. He's still going, Jeremy Sharp. He can take a third if he wants. He won't, though. From right half forward. Kicks into the right forward pocket. Tracy got in front of Kemp. Couldn't mark. Sarge at the back. Gathered. He's happy enough to see it towards the boundary line. He'll go over for a throw-in. Intelligently done then from Sard. He knew that they were surrounded by Dockers. He was able to take it a lot across the line and disguised it beautifully.
Give you an injury update in a moment's time from the Sydney West Coast game. We saw Ryan Marrick head into an ambulance. Toss back into play. Luke Jackson taps it down. The Governor was there to crumb. Kick around the body, exiting defensive 50. Kerno nearly claimed the contested mark. Umpire may have even paid it in the end, but he plays on quickly. Up towards centre wing. Kennedy unopposed, but put it down. Has enough time to gather. Looks inside and squares his kick up towards Newman, the former Swan.
Just going to have to take their time here. Carlton just... Fremantle got a lot of numbers back.
Had Kemp on the switch if he wanted. Instead, he'll go through centre half back to get there rather than bomb it long. Wiedering finds Kemp in the end. Did give Taverner time to close him down, but they have enough pace to get through. Kemp, little 1-2 with Akers, but the ball didn't come back to him as he tried to bounce it right half forward. And the pressure's there to come from Tracy and Young. As a result, we'll get a boundary throw in right half forward for Carlton. They're currently trailing by a point at the moment, 2-1-13, Fremantle 2-2-14. So Ryan Marrick taken to the hospital after a heavy knock in the third quarter. West Coast have confirmed he has broken ribs and a possible punctured lung.
Oh. Akers' kick was smothered beautifully by Frederick. And then got it again after tap forward by Jackson. And that's clever. Beautiful kick then from Sarong to Switkowski. Running by Frederick. Sends it towards full forward. Running with the flight of the football. Amos marks. And he'll go back and shoot from pretty much right in front. That was so well done. Sarong, the way he measured that pass to settle that up was magnificent.
Yeah, it was class, but it was composure too. He could have just banged it on the boot, but Carlton had numbers back, and it was just the ability to stop back, kick it inside, hit the short, then get one out the back.
Jai Amos from right in front puts it through to give the Dockers a 7-point lead in the 7th minute of the second quarter. Fremantle 3-2-20, Carlton a 2-1-13. Gather round on ABC Sport. Clint Wilden and Aaron Bryans in commentary. Our experts Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy.
Well, you'd be spewing if you're a Carlton forward at the moment. They've cost themselves 3 inside 50s. That first beautiful kick from Charlie Curnow, Matty Kennedy drops it out there on the wing. Cottrell gets smothered as he's about to go inside forward 50, and then Kem, as he's taking a bounce, the ball dribbles away from him.
Bounces in a puddle.
Yeah, all opportunities for the forwards to get to work and actually create an opportunity for themselves. But
yeah, well, they're just not getting the basics right.
Exactly right,
Carlton. It's a very defensive game at the moment. Both sides are defending the ground really well. It's hard to try and penetrate, and when you do have the ability to penetrate like Sarong did, you get opportunities out the back.
Fremantle by 7. De Koning wins it down to Chera. Fumbled as the ball fell into his lap. Young all over him, wraps him up. We'll get a ball up just outside the centre circle. So Sarong had 3 touches last week in the opening quarter, finishes with 28. Bit of deja vu so far this afternoon. So 3 in the first and already up to 8 in the opening 5 minutes in this second term. De Koning kicks around the body out of that stoppage. It tumbles its way to the outer side. Sharp will get there first. Very lively early, the former Sun. Now Docker hands it off to Clark. Speaking of accumulators, kicks across to Walker. Just wide of centre half back. Hughes is available to him on the switch. It'll sit up in the air a bit longer than he'd hoped. Akers closed, but didn't get no time. He played on and was caught by Mackay, who came from nowhere. Spills to Durden. Can they make them pay? Into the pocket. It's a little wide for Curnow, and it's knocked over the boundary line. Oh, that was dangerous.
No awareness there. Good pressure, though, from Harry Mackay, but I like the look of Draper. His third game, he's got... Charlie Curnow can't get any space on him, and he's an athletic beast.
Exactly right. He guarded that really well, that entry. Gave him nothing but the pocket. Had to be a perfect kick.
Ball spun back in. Getting to it, Mackay takes clean possession, throws it on the boot, sends it towards goal, misses left. The behind to the Blues, who moved to be 2-2-14. Fremantle 3-2-20. 8.5 gone in the second term. Earlier today, the Swans by 26 over the Eagles.
Great game up there at Mount Barker, Clint, and this one's had this excellent build that a boxing promoter could only dream of. 2 undefeated sides, neutral venue, and then we've got the Western Bulldogs and Geelong to come, and it's such an exciting game to cap off this trifecta that Rod Jamieson, who's part of the call team, is already here. He's so excited. Exiting kick up towards the broadcast wing. Taverner clunks it amongst the pack. Turns. He spots Frederick over the top. Close to left half forward. Strong in the air as Saad collected him. Free kick mark, take your pick. He has it just behind left half forward. South Australian sends it into the 50, floating across the pack. Wiedering double tap down. Crumming was Kemp, kick smothered by Brayshaw. Gathers his own footy, hands it towards Banfield. Dangerous in the pocket. Squares it up, 30 out. Cottrell
well done.
Stood his ground with Walters all over him and cuts it off for Carlton, and 50 as well.
That hurts.
As Walters moved off the mark.
He has a good mark one-on-one, wasn't it? That gets over the back. They had another player out the back to try and swoop on that one.
Cottrell plays on by hand to Akers, to Chera. Lovely movement through the middle. Oh, that was just to give him a wrap. Carroll, a shocking kick. Comes towards Durden, sends it into the left forward pocket. No mark taken. Spilled down to Ryan, immediately tackled. Curnow was one of the two to absolutely crunch him. A ball ups the call. The other Fogarty. Deep inside Carlton's forward 50. It's put aloft. Jackson palmed it down. Ball still on the deck. Johnson hand passes to Pearce. He's tackled by Durden into the ground. Umpire will ball it up. Freo, they're leading by 6 points. Carlton find the equaliser. De Koning taps it down, but only as far as Young. Threw it on the boot. Went beyond defensive 50. Travels the pack to the outer side. Amos is there. Good fend. Broke the attempted tackle. Looks to switch plays. Kemp slowly gets back off the ground. Nicely on to Banfield. He'll kick towards left half forward. Waiting for it to bounce as Frederick. Did he take it over the line? It was close, but no. And then he sends it back to Ryan, who marks on the commentary wing. He'll trot back just beyond the defensive side of halfway. Freo's lead, 6 points, 11 gone, second term. Gather round on ABC Sport.
Fresh off 35 touches against the Crows last week. Ryan on the 45 hits Clark. Carlton have flooded back, and Clark is desperate for a target to lead up. In the end, he'll bang it into the left forward pocket. Tabner was in front position with Wiedering behind him. Fist came in, spilled to Saad, and he's sandwiched over the boundary line. 45 out left forward pocket at the northern end, which is baked in magnificent sunshine here at the Adelaide Oval. And again, the hill, shoulder to shoulder. Most of them in the navy blue. Currently, though, Carlton down by 6. Toss back into play. Jackson entangled with De Koning. Neither got a clean tap. Sard can gather a little wide of that. Handed it off looking for Newman. It's cut off in the end. Emmett got there. Went to ground. Free kick. So Newman dove in, trying to wrench the ball out, and it's just got Emmett over the shoulder as he reached around. Heavy collision, and unfortunately for the Blues defender, he's given away a free kick 45 out from home.
There wasn't a lot in it, Murph, I don't think, but the initial one was just over the shoulder. Yeah, the right-handers that come around to try and lock him up. Just come around the back of the neck.
So the former double blue. Now Docker crosses the paint of 50, shakes it. That is an awful kick. Absolute mongrel. It fell into the lap of Akers, who played on off the intercept mark, caught in the tackles, dropped it, holding the ball. Cue the Benny Hill music. Matt Taberner has the footy, 10 out.
No, just stay involved in the game. That's what Taberner did there. Akers just did. What was just that lack of awareness? Just thought he had too much time. He's caught napping a little bit there.
They've cleaned up their mess, and Matt Taberner can snap around the body for his first of the afternoon. Fremantle's 4th. And they're up by a game-high 12 points. 4-2-26 plays 2-2-14, 13 minutes into the second term. Brett Delidio, Mark Murphy, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, I'll be interested to hear from Liz what the wind's doing down there. I know from personal experience that it can be swirly. You can point the wrong way, or your captain can in finals.
What are you alluding to there?
Nothing. But Tommy Emmett couldn't make the distance from about 35, 40 metres out and tried to go for the extra bit of distance. Absolutely shanked it. But what was Blake Akers doing there?
Yeah.
Playing on from defensive 15 to try and get it out to a 2v1 out here on the wing. But
we've seen different methods from Fremantle, just throwing a ball on the boot, trying to torp it out of the back pocket there, and then Akers, when you're in that situation, you've just got to have awareness that you're going to be under the pump and you've got to get rid of it quicker.
There's been a few odd things happening for Carlton today. It's just another one of them. They trail by 12 points. From the restart, Young looks to take it away. He's tackled by Cripps on a board up. Head down to Liz in just a moment to answer that question. There's one down here by Mackay. Got it on to Cripps and then to Chera, kick towards half forward. Sliding out Ryan, he's been able to lock it in. Liz Walsh downstairs.
Yeah, the wind seems to, well, at ground level, I can't feel a whisper, but the flags above the scoreboard are sort of heading towards the north.
Restart, taken cleanly by Patrick Cripps. Wheels around, kicks it right towards full forward. One-on-one battle. No one can take the mark. Hughes is there. Got a hand pass back for the Dockers to Ryan and then on to Aish. Bumping kick beyond defensive 50. Taberner looked to go. Kennedy front position. Neither could mark. At the drop of the football, Walters got a hand pass away to Sharp. Running down the boundary line to Taberner. Hand passes back to Sharp. It bounces away from him though. Unfortunate, and Boyd was able to mop it up for the Blues. Lovely pass inboard to Newman. That's a raking kick out towards right half forward where Akers marks. He looks to play on quickly, leading out to mark. Here's Mackay. He's got it 70 from goal. Freo's lead 12 points, 14 gone in the second.
Works his way around Draper. Mackay's kick cut off by Pearce in the pack. Spilled front and square to Hewitt. Got it out to Durden. Kick smothered. Another chance. Fantasia off towards Ollie Hollins. Now Chera jammed it off a step and it's out on the full. Had an excellent goal in the opening term, Adam Chera, but couldn't cash in there. Free kick, Fremantle in the back pocket. They're up by 12.
It's having an interesting day, Charlie Curnow, isn't he? He's a bit all over the shop. He's had probably 3 or 4 one-on-ones, which he'd normally gobble up against a young player, and just still can't get that separation at the moment.
Wiedering looking to battle away at right half back. Turned over. Came again here to Sarong, and now got it on to Sharp. Runs to the wing for the Dockers. Kicks towards right half forward. It goes bouncing inside forward 50 for Freo. Newman can't take it cleanly. Sard comes back, scoops it up off the deck. Caresses the pass to Boyd, who marks it left half back, and he'll come back inboard to Chera. It's a mark where the 50's painted on the ground. His defensive 50-metre arc at left half back. It remains for Carlton. Freo's lead is 12 points, 15 gone in the second. Earlier today, the Swans by 26 over the Eagles.
Chera to Newman at left half back. Playing a methodical approach forward by the Blues, but pinpoint. Finds Ollie Hollins, true centre wing. Wheels around, long ball towards the 50. Curnow's outnumbered. Jackson got some height to try and cut it off. Brought it to ground. Pearce gives it to him in the end. Handball's wide to Sarong. He's under a bit of pressure. Sliding in Hewitt. Did well not to infringe. Sarong gets it out though. Ryan to Hughes, and now Aish pops it short to Young. Just the required 15. Tight. 45 out and defensive 50 in the right back pocket. Got the Mark Prosciutto stand behind him as he kicks up towards centre wing on that outer side. Wiedering comes across with the big fist, knocks it towards the LED fence.
The two sides are very well defensively set up at the moment. There's nothing going through the corridor at the moment. There's very few overlap handballs or anything. It's very stagnant, but that's due to the very good defence of both teams in their team zone.
Jackson got away from his opponent, won it down, but Cripps was there to gather. Continuing to battle along was Sarong. He was tackled to ground. The Blues will merge with it. Boyd eventually gets a kick away towards right half forward. Cottrell battles with Ryan, and Cottrell will get the free kick, and then he gets the advantage. Umpire paid that late. He must finish here, and does. In the right forward pocket, Ryan turns as if to suggest to the umpire, well, hang on, everything stopped for a moment, and so did we, but the advantage, the decision is there with the player who has the free kick. Cottrell was given it. He kept going. And from the right forward pocket, he kicks a much-needed goal for the Blues. It brings them back to within a major. Fremantle's lead cut to 6 points. The Dockers are 4-2-26. Carlton 3-2-20. 18 gone in the second.
Yeah, well done, Cottrell. If he didn't win that contest, that 1v1, well, he got a free kick, I know, but he made the contest and he made the contact with Ryan first.
He initiated the contact, didn't he?
Exactly, and that's where Ryan was forced to. He threw that left arm out and got Cottrell high, and then he was like, well, you're going to let me go? Yep, I'm going to keep going here.
Both looked back at the umpire and said, okay, I'll go and have a shot from 40 out.
And Lukey Ryan's like, you can't do that. Great finish, though, from Cottrell. Geez, they needed that one, the Baggers.
Well, yeah, you can.
Exactly right.
Thoughts of Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy. The Dockers by 6 midway through the second quarter. Player down amongst it. Tracy was the ruckman. He's fallen down and cannot put any weight on his left leg. Meanwhile, the clearance goes Fremantle's way. Fife got it out. Long ball into the 50. Came from Brayshaw towards Emmett. Couldn't control it. Knocked over the boundary line. Tracy's in all sorts out there.
Hit pointer, I reckon.
Meanwhile, we'll get Liz to keep an eye on Charlie Curnow because he was favouring his ankle after a marking contest, and the trainers had to escort him to the bench. So, worrying signs for either side in terms of their tools right now. We tick towards time on ABC Sport. Tracy won it down, so staying out there for the moment. Tapped it straight towards Boyd, who's wrapped up in a heavy tackle by Switkowski. Bit of afters as well. Boyd wasn't happy with what he thought was a tackle that went a little too high, although the umpire, Andrew Heffernan, wasn't too fazed by it. Another stoppage. Switkowski this time gets it out. Uses Johnson. Now Clark sidesteps Newman from 45. That would have been special. It's across the face and just shallow enough to be knocked over the boundary line in the scoreboard pocket. So to be tossed back into play right in front of the Cathedral at that northern end. Fremantle by 6 points.
Well worth a tour if you're in Adelaide too. I've wandered through it.
But have you hit the bookstore at Central Markets yet?
No. It's not open at the
Your
moment.
favourite spot?
Yeah, there's a little side bit, but they don't have a lot of sport books at the moment. The ball's in display in the right forward pocket. Still been battling away here, both sides for Fremantle. It comes out to Boyd, though, of the Blues. Keep the on defensive 50, well hit by Aish. Attacked the football, was able to gather, sends it back towards Banfield. At the drop, 5, got a hand pass away. Banfield from the right forward pocket, out of bounds on the full. Free kick to the Blues, deep in the left back pocket. No, I did buy the tea towel, though, at St Peter's, the memorabilia shop.
Awful kick. Trying to exit Carlton. Switkowski cuts it off. Tried to hand it away and release Aish, but Carlton's pressure enough to get away with a great escape. Kick out from Boyd, a wobbler that bounced towards Walker. Darts his way through the centre square, sending it towards the right forward pocket. Fife's got a bit of space and led to it brilliantly. Unselfishly wants to move it on. He dinked it forward towards Brayshaw, and the Blues have cut it off again. Cottrell gets the exit. Should have gone for home, the former skipper. Now inside Fantasia, uses Ollie Hollins, gives it to his brother Elijah. Put it in the path of Kennedy, couldn't quite get there in time. Ryan cuts it off and walks it over the boundary line, right half forward for the Blues. Down by 6, Liz Walsh downstairs.
Keeping a very close eye on Charlie Curnow for you. He's got his boot off on his left ankle. It's just being restrapped. It looks like he's putting his sock back on. Hopefully he's good to go.
Jackson against DeConing. Jackson at the back, DeConing at the front. Either with a telling tap, it came down towards Sarong. Hurries a kick forward. Banfield might have been knocked out of it by Wiedering. Umpire says play on. Ball towards the boundary line. Rolls through the Carlton interchange gate, so it'll be a throw-in.
What made you want to buy a tea towel, Clint?
Needed one at home.
Oh, right. It wouldn't be the
Never
first
have
thing
enough
I'd buy.
details, I suppose.
It's a church memorabilia shop. There's not a lot there. I thought I'd bring something home from Adelaide. Thought we need a tea towel.
City of Churches.
Yeah, exactly. Very good tea towel it is too. Ball here for Elijah Hollins. Hand pass intercepted by Brayshaw. Got it on in turn to Clark. Hand pass into traffic. Switkowski put his head over the top of the football. Hewitt wraps him up on the logo commentary wing. It's been locked in.
It's been a scrappy affair, hasn't it, this second quarter?
Yep.
Certainly not of two sides undefeated at the moment this season, but it's very scratchy. But it's due to the tight pressure. There's not a lot of room to move out there at the moment.
Tapped down by Jackson from behind De Koning, and Fife is gang tackled by 3 Blues in the centre square. We'll try again. Jackson again wins it down. Straight to Sarong. Sidesteps a couple. Kicks straight up and down. Just the required 15. In the end, Newman took the mark, and as he was backing back, he's bowled over, running across Banfield, completely shirt-fronted him. They're going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he wasn't really expecting Newman to be there. Kicks on the 45 towards right half forward, Curnow. On one leg, hopped up, took the mark, handed it off to Chera. Inside 50, Mackay got around Alex Pearce. The two bodies entangled 35 out from goal, and somehow managed to fall into his chest. Tight angle on the right. Harry Mackay, a chance to open his account this afternoon.
It's a big grab there from Harry Mackay. Alex Pearce, he's a bear tamer, isn't he? Down there, I
love the bear tamers.
Yeah, we do love the bear tamers. But Harry Mackay, not really known for his strength in those situations. He's more of the athletic type, but great body use, fought through the contest and did really well.
He loves playing Fremantle. 19 goals in 7 games. Won't be able to add to that tally. He sprayed it to the left-hand side. Minor score, Fremantle up by 5. 4-2-26. Carlton 3-3-21. Still 4 and a bit to play in this second term. Let's gather round Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Luke Ryan with the Rockside do again for 2024. Long kick and a good mark. Up to gather that one. That was an absolute yuki from the side as Kemp is able to move on towards Cripps. Hand pass for Saad to hit at speed. Not a great hand pass from Mackay. Falling back, gave it along the ground to Saad. Kick back towards full forward. Kurnow came out. Bounced off his chest. Spills down. Chance to snap for Elijah Hollins. It's up and down in the elevator shaft and waiting underneath it. Just in front of the left hand behind post as far as the Blues are concerned was Clark, and he's able to take the mark defensively for Fremantle. The Dockers lead remains 5 points. 24 and a bit gone in the second term. Gather round on ABC Sport.
Clark, long ball, a hit, hope almost. Carlton had the body sitting back, and De Koning cuts it off over Frederick. Spots Cripps in the 50, little too long for him. Switkowski bowled him over though unnecessarily and has given away the free kick. The Blues skipper will be handed the footy. 40 out from goal, straight in front.
Yeah, well, if you don't make contact with the ball, it has to be a free kick, doesn't it? Like, you can't just take a player out of the contest. Did everything right. He was just probably undersized, wasn't he? Switkowski trying to jump into a bloke who's 194.
Doesn't help when you're 170, probably.
It doesn't at all. Yeah. He loves his defensive work, Switkowski, but unfortunately just not quite big enough in that case.
It was good work from Tom De Koning. Obviously, he had the contested mark, but to get back, quickly see an option and pin the ears and have a go at it.
To put Carlton in front for the first time since the 9-minute mark of the opening term. Patrick Cripps far to the right. Minor score again for Carlton. 1 goal, 3 in this second term, and they're down by 4 points. 4-2-26 place, 3-4-22. 25 minutes in on ABC Sport.
Blues have made some blues today. Taking their chances in front of goal. Look for the Dockers into the middle of the ground. Tracy went up. Marks were there for Jackson. De Koning emerges with it. Sent it back towards full forward. This might bounce through. It's rolling. It hits the right-hand goal post. Oh, from a long way out. De Koning thought he'd have a go. Got the inside 50. We're talking a matter of centimetres. If it had gone to the left, it would have tumbled through. As the Dockers, with Hughes of the kicking duties, comes to Sharp in the right back pocket and goes beyond defensive 50 to Aish. 4-2-26 is Fremantle, 3-5-23 the Blues. 26 gone in the second. Dockers work it down the outer side. It's from Aish to Sharp, who takes an uncontested mark up against the boundary. It's the green boots in motion. Kicks down the outer side of the ground. DeConing came for a long way back and takes a great mark.
Good climb.
Been great in the second quarter, Tom DeConing.
Reckon Kemp felt it too. He was the step ladder. He had to climb slowly off the ground, and at least DeConing gave him a disposal, kicking it in his direction, and then he sends it back in the direction of Wiedering. They're across half back now, the Blues. Sard with it. Marks plays on. Got away from Amos. Back to Williams at centre half back, who marks. Gather round on ABC Sport. Freo by 3 points. 27 gone in the second term.
Nice to hear the Wolves have made their way over the border, Clint. Carlton switch to the outer side. McGovern now in board to Wiedering. No one's on the mark. Has a bit of time to run forward, load up. It's a heavy and hard and low kick. In the end, Jackson nearly claimed it over the top of the pack. Fremantle have the numbers at the fall of the footy. Aish to Hughes. Back over the top to Pearce. Had Curnow on his tail. Manages to get it out to Aish again. Spears it forward. Here's Sharp once again. Disposal number 9 in this second quarter alone. Back to Aish again. Sharing the footy around at the moment, these Dockers defenders. Back over the top to Sharp. Brayshaw turned into the tackle of Wiedering. Now they've given it away. Here comes the fast break. Ollie Hollands sold some candy to Sharp and then realised he was in a bit of trouble, so had to square it up. Akers takes it just inside the centre square. The journeyman through the logo on the broadcast side. Mackay's got some space on Draper, who closed him down and got the fist late. Gathered his own footy as well, the third gamer. You'd think he's been out there for multiple seasons. Out to Banfield, then Switkowski, the outside of the boot. Bit too fancy as he tried to find Amos. And he's given it away to Zach Williams. Fremantle up by 3 points. Another 50-metre penalty going against them as Zach Williams. We march close to right half forward. 4-2-26, plays 3-5-23. Still to come tonight on ABC Sport. The Dogs and the Cats.
Williams tells everyone he's going to put it long towards the teeth of goal. Goes in the direction of Curnow. Couldn't mark, turned, gathered it. Aish tackled him. He dropped the football then, I thought, holding the ball. He was desperate to try and get it onto his boot. And the umpire spots the free kick. How they somehow dodged that, Fremantle. Great effort from Aish, giving away height and strength against Curnow. It is Aish who rightly receives the free kick in his goal square. Kicks beyond defensive 50 towards left half back. Jackson won it down. Banfield to gather. And Fremantle's lead is 3 points as Carlton had chance after chance in the closing stages of that quarter, but just couldn't make Freo pay on the scoreboard. The Dockers, they led by a point at quarter time. They lead by 3 points at the half. Fremantle 4-2-26, Carlton 3-5-23. The goal kickers for the Dockers in that term, Emmett, Taberner, overall I should say, Emmett, Taberner, Amos and Banfield, while for Carlton, Chera, Cripps and Cottrell have their 3 goals. Earlier today, just repeating, Sydney by 26 points on Gather Round on ABC Sport over the West Coast Eagles. 15-14, 104 to the Eagles, 11-12, 78. It's 2 unbeaten sides battling it out beneath us here. Level 5 at Adelaide Oval. It hasn't been pretty, but it has been absorbing. What have you made of things? Our experts, Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy, Gather Round on ABC Sport.
Yeah, well, it's been a bit scrappy, as you called then, Murph, in that, especially that second term. No team has really been able to break away, and I wonder whether that's because they're probably bigger-bodied, bull-type midfielders, aren't they? No real breakaway power.
They certainly are from Carlton. I think Fremantle...
Sarong's not too bad, but Brayshaw's not known for his electric speed. Fife's certainly not anymore. More of a bull, so I wonder whether that's the case where it's been kept more so in tight. They haven't been able to get on the outside to really open the game up, but they're getting like smack still in the clearances, Blues, where you'd expect. DeConing was fantastic in that quarter, really upped his rating, his ability to get involved. But, they're still getting done, 20-10 around, like in all clearances, 15-8 just around the grounds, and only up by 3 in centre clearances. That's not that as big of a deal, but they had their chances, Carlton, and they just weren't able to capitalise late. They haven't seen the best of Curnow yet. He hasn't been able to break free of young Draper. He's done a terrific job, as we've made mention, but again, they've wasted opportunities, I think. That's probably been the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see that even halfway through that second quarter, they changed their matchups too. So Pearce went to Charlie Curnow after Draper had been doing such a great job at him, and obviously when you've got Harry Mackay and Charlie Curnow, they take turns of being the deepest at times. They're not fussed which way they go, which their defence is very sound, Fremantle. I really like the way in which they go about it. They have some great ball users off the half-back flank.
They get back to support well, don't they?
In Clark and Aish, and then obviously Ryan. But
then their wingers.
Brayshaw's the one who gets really hard back and really runs the line and creates that +1 for them to then use. But I think it's been a good showing from both teams of their team zone defence. It's been so hard for both teams to try and penetrate through the corridor. You probably count on one hand the amount of times that they've gone through the corridor, and that's something that we've seen this season. There's just every side going through the corridor and overlap handballing and breaking the lines, and we haven't seen any of that really today. So you've got to give both sides credit that they're working really hard on the defensive end, but the game's going to open up at some point. So it's going to be which side's going to make the most of their opportunities when they get them.
Or not bugger it up when they're in a defensive 50. You know,
hold on to the ball too when you're running into an open goal.
So I think you're right. It's more about eliminating those mistakes and being clean without. Anyway, mate. Well, I think we're in for an enthralling second half, but it's it hasn't been one overly picturesque game just at this point in time, Clint. That's for sure.
No, like me, it's been ugly but effective. That's what we've seen so far. By the way, Mitch Turner puts on the screen, you have to go back 10 games for the Blues for the last time that Curnow or Mackay didn't kick a goal in the first half of footy. So you mentioned big raps to Fremantle's defence, and I know it's not just the players in the back six, but overall that is quite a remarkable effort from the Dockers, and I reckon that'd be a big tick for Justin Longmuir in his half-time address. So Fremantle leading by 3 points here, 4-2-26 to Carlton, 3-5-23. We haven't heard from you wherever you happen to be gathered around the country listening in, or indeed around the world. 0437 774 774 0437 774 774. If you want to send us a text, comment, or tell us what you would buy at the St Peter's Cathedral shop, we'd love to know from you as well. Send us a text, 0437 774 774. Coming up, we'll hear from Taylor Adams speaking after the Swans win over the West Coast Eagles by 26 points. But first, let's pause and take the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. Police in Taiwan suspect dashcam footage could help them locate a missing Australian-Singaporean couple who have not been seen since this week's devastating earthquake. North Asia correspondent James Oaten has more.
Australian-Singaporean dual nationals Neo Siu Chu and Sim Hui Kok have been missing since this week's devastating earthquake. Police say the married couple were staying in Hualien City near the epicentre. On the day of the quake, they boarded a bus that went inside a national park. The bus driver is stuck at a recreational area, but the couple reportedly got off the bus earlier in the trip. Police are now trying to get to the bus and access its dashcam footage. James Oaten, ABC News.
Former US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has added her name to a letter signed by nearly 40 congressional Democrats calling for a halt to US weapons shipments to Israel. More from the BBC's Peter Bowes.
The strongly worded letter from members of the president's own party is the latest sign of growing discontent among Democrats over US support for Israel. In it, Nancy Pelosi and dozens of others express what they say is their shared concern and outrage over the airstrike that killed 7 aid workers, including an American citizen from the group World Central Kitchen. They strongly urge the Biden administration to conduct an independent investigation, a move that the White House National Security spokesman John Kirby had earlier ruled out.
Military officials from the United States and China have met in Hawaii to discuss the operational safety of their forces. The US military says the officials discussed maritime and aviation safety and professionalism. In a call earlier this week, US President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping discussed managing tensions in the South China Sea. The State Emergency Service in New South Wales is instructing some communities around the Hawkesbury River in Sydney's northwest to evacuate immediately due to the flood threat. Residents in low-lying parts of Leetsvale and Sackville North have been advised that they may become trapped should they stay in their houses any longer. It comes after more than a dozen evacuation orders were issued at the height of a severe weather event across much of New South Wales. Special emergency or state emergency services carried out over 160 flood rescues last night and this morning. Water levels are expected to reach 10 metres in the nearby suburb of Windsor, 3 metres above the moderate flood level. And areas of southern Queensland have been drenched with heavy falls in the last 24 hours as well. Isolated falls of more than 100 millimetres were recorded near Rockhampton and Cannonvale. Cannonvale recorded the highest total in the state at 127 mils. A major flood warning is still current for the Warrego River, which peaked at 6.7 metres at Charleville early this morning. Senior forecaster Harry Clark says the Weather Bureau isn't ruling out further heavy rainfall caused by isolated thunderstorms.
For the most part, generally we will see lighter falls around, sort of 10 to 30 millimetres across most of southeastern Queensland in the next 24 hours. It will be isolated pockets that see those heavier rainfall totals. Certainly Logan and Gold Coast are included in that. We can't really say exactly where it's going to fall until we start to see it forming.
A criminology researcher says governments need to look at the big picture in order to reduce crime. It comes as Northern Territory Police have sent 60 more officers to Alice Springs to enforce the 2-week youth curfew. The NT government has also announced $200 million in funding to recruit 200 more police officers to the Territory over the next 4 years. Director of Centre for Criminology, Law and Justice at the University of New South Wales, Maria Giannopoulos, says crime is a complex issue caused by a combination of factors, none of which are addressed by more police.
And at some point, we have to actually pull back and look at that big picture in order to bring about other solutions to problems that these approaches have not been solving for very, very many years.
Mexico is tightening controls on Peruvian nationals following a recent surge of migrants from the South American nation. They'll now need a visa to enter Mexico in what the government says is a temporary measure. In 2012, Mexico eliminated an earlier visa requirement for Peruvians to visit for up to 6 months. And in tennis, the women's champion of the recent Miami Open, Danielle Collins, has advanced to the semi-finals of the Charleston Open in the US. The 30-year-old, who's playing in her final season before retirement, defeated Belgian Elise Mertens in straight sets, 6-3, 6-4. Top-seeded Jessica Pegula has also made it through to the semi-finals. ABC News.
Do you often feel overwhelmed by the daily news cycle? Too many headlines with too little context? Well, join me, Sam Hawley, for ABC News Daily.
There's middlemen involved and you have to make sure that the farmers are getting a good deal.
A podcast that walks you through one story per episode to help you with a deeper understanding of the issues affecting your world, all delivered in a comprehensive yet easy to digest 15 minutes. So join me for ABC News Daily.
Hear it now on the ABC Listen app. You're listening to the AFL Gather Round. AFL. On radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And take us with you on the ABC Listen app.
Tap forward by Jackson, and that's clever. Beautiful kick then from Sarong to Switkowski, running by Frederick, sent it towards full forward, running with the flight of the football, Amos Marks. And he'll go back and shoot from pretty much right in front. That was so well done.
Yeah, it was class, but it was composure too.
Jai Amos from right in front puts it through to give the Dockers a 7-point lead.
Emmett got there, went to ground. High, free kick. So the former double blue. Now Docker crosses the paint of 50, shakes it. That is an awful kick. Absolute mongrel. It fell into the lap of Akers, who played on off the intercept mark, caught in the tackles, dropped it, holding the ball. Cue the Benny Hill music. Matt Taberner has the footy, 10 out.
Akers just had a lack of awareness, just thought he had too much time.
They've cleaned up their mess, and Matt Taberner can snap around the body for his first of the afternoon. Fremantle's 4.
Boyd eventually gets a kick away towards right half forward. Cottrell battles with Ryan, and Cottrell will get the free kick, and then he gets the advantage. Umpire paid that late. He must finish here and does.
The 2024 AFL Gather Round.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
We're at Adelaide Oval, where Fremantle lead Carlton by 3 points at halftime. 4-2-26 to the Blues, 3-5-23. Clint Wilden with you. Delighted to be here. The ground looks an absolute picture. Adelaide has turned it on weather-wise as well. There's a few clouds about, but still plenty of sunshine. Nice, cool conditions for you, footballer or spectator, and a good crowd in as well for this game between two unbeaten sides. Coming up, the Western Bulldogs against Geelong. That is next. That's also here at Adelaide Oval. And earlier today, up in the hills, Sydney beat West Coast by 26 points, 15-14, 104 to the Eagles, 11-12, 78. Now, Swans midfielder Taylor Adams, still weird to say that, first game for the Swans for Taylor Adams, caught up with ABC Sports' Neil Cross after that win against the Eagles. And Crossy began by asking him, was that game a little bit tougher than many expected?
Yeah, well, they're all tough. There's not a lot of room for error in the competition now, so yeah, we knew that they were going to bring the pressure and contest, and they've done that pretty well all year. So, I thought they played really well. It was really challenging, particularly in that second quarter, to match their intensity. And half time we spoke about doing that around the ball, and we're able to do that in the third and fourth.
Did the ground play any part in? It's a new space for you to be working in. Did that play any part in perhaps you're just not quite getting your game together to start with?
I don't think so. I think we're pretty happy to play anywhere. To be honest, the deck was unbelievable. The setup here is great. We love gather round. We really embraced coming over here a couple of days early and getting amongst the community. And it's nice to walk away with 4 points. Obviously their win-loss record isn't great at the moment, but they're a really competitive team with some star players in their lineup, and I thought their midfield was really strong today. And we predicted that. We knew that they'd bring a lot of pressure and heat, and Elliot Yeo and Tim Kelly and Harley Reid, these guys have been playing really good footy this year. So we certainly weren't underestimating what we're going to get. We sort of looked at it as a 6-week block. We thought what we've done over the last 6 weeks has been really pleasing. A couple of practice matches into what have we played? 5 games now, and we're 4-1. So holistically really positive. Clearly it was going to be a challenge today. We get a break next week, so get a chance to recharge, come back, work on the things that we didn't do so well in parts today. We probably played patchy footy, so we're looking forward to that.
And what was your experience, given that it was your first game back at this level for, quite a while?
Yeah, it's been a while. Obviously not the ideal start to my career at Sydney, but I couldn't have been more grateful for the support that I've had from the footy club and all the boys and my family and friends. So I'm just grateful to be back out in the park, and body's feeling good and mind's feeling good, so looking forward to the rest of the year.
We're only 5 minutes after the game, but how is the body, really?
No, it's good, yeah. No, I'm obviously a little bit underdone. After doing my knee, I spent 2 weeks in a brace, so unfortunately couldn't do a lot of conditioning. So I was on managed minutes last week and probably a little bit of managed minutes this week, so the bye will be good for me.
So there he is, Taylor Adams, after his first game for the Sydney Swans today, and the Swans victorious over the Eagles, who did have a red-hot dip throughout that game, West Coast, and Harley Reid proved again why he's going to be an absolute superstar, and the Eagles decided that they would stick true and keep their number 1 draft pick and use it. He was outstanding today and kicking his first goal in AFL football as well. But the Swans with the 4 points, 15-14 to 11-12, a 26-point win to Sydney. A couple of text messages coming through, 0437 774 774. G'day Clint, Grant in Hobart. G'day Grant, enjoying the call. Murph, get down to the rooms and tell the Blues to lift their game, mate. It's been rubbish footy. That's from Grant in Hobart, who he knows is a Blues fan.
Come on, Murph.
No, Grant, it's a fair call. I wouldn't say it's rubbish football, but it's almost like both teams are trying to feel themselves out at the moment. We've seen very few opportunities on quick breaks. Defence been really strong so far, but I think Grant's right. They have made a few simple errors that have cost them goals, and then even a few 1v1 opportunities ahead of the football, they just haven't quite been able to get their hands on the football and do enough with it. So they certainly need to lift their rating in this second half.
There have been a few head-smacking moments from them, none more so than Harry Mackay with an open goal and running in, just dropping the football cold. Doesn't count as a miss because he didn't actually have a shot. I'm packing my suitcase, says Ben, to fly home to Perth for 2 weeks in Logan, in Utah, in the USA for work. Might be good to have you back, Ben. Happy to hear the boys having a good game so far. Go Freo, that is Ben. We were wondering in the West when the flag mantle call will start.
Bring back the troops.
They're very quick to jump on the flag mantle, those in the Imperial Purple. But win today, you're 4-0. It would be hard to imagine that call doesn't start to ring around.
Mentioned the numbers before, Clint. So 89% of teams that are 4-0 have gone on to play finals. 23% have gone on to become the minor premier. 68% in the top 4. So it's a pretty promising sign if you start the season the way that either of these sides could. It could be a draw the way that we're going, a single-digit margin at the moment. But I'm still not really sure where either sit with the Murph. So in terms of the actual results, like Fremantle looked really down and out against the Lions early, managed to come back. Against North Melbourne and Adelaide, really slow starts, weren't as dominating as they probably should have been. And then from a Carlton perspective, a similar deal where they come from late to beat Brisbane. Richmond are down to a one-man bench and they nearly let them through. And North Melbourne last week, the first half was pretty competitive as well. So we haven't seen either impose themselves on 2024.
No, we haven't seen either side play a great 4 quarters yet, and I think you've got to wait probably 6 to 8 weeks to really understand where they will sit amongst the competition, I feel. So, they've both played North Melbourne, like we expect them to be a bottom team like West Coast, and then you're right, they've been patchy in other games, both sides.
Brendan asked the big questions here from Hobart. G'day, Brendan. You didn't go for the decorative spoon over the tea towel? I did think about the decorative spoon, but I did honestly need a tea towel. We go through a few of them at home mopping up messes of small children, so I went the tea towel. Chris and Lee are listening in Surrey in the UK. Go the Dockers, give it to Never Miss. It is a great name. Unfortunately, his name's Amos, but Nev Amiss. It's a great nickname.
It's a good. I like that nickname.
Beauty.
So on their form lines then, Murph, as you said, it's a bit too early to call, but if Fremantle or Carlton go 4-0, do you see them, from what we've seen this afternoon so far in the first 3 games, as a top 4 side? Have either of them shown the potential to be that?
I think they've certainly got the potential to be top 4 sides, both these sides. And they've won, obviously, their first 3. I really...
Carlton more so than Fremantle.
Carlton more so because I think they've just got a few more...
weapons.
Up forward especially. But I really like the depth of the Fremantle midfield. I love Luke Jackson as a player. I reckon he's an absolute superstar.
Which is a question in itself. What do they do next week when Sean Darcy comes back?
It's been the great question. Freo have been winning games
without him.
So how do you have that mix? Because they're both great rucks. And they both are ruckmen. They're different ruckmen. But they're ruckmen. They try to push Jackson forward as a forward. It didn't quite work. Freo have been able to win, not super convincingly, but they're getting results with a single ruck. I'm not sure what they do. I mean, a great problem to have because they're both amazing. But
there was one game. There was one game last year when Fremantle played Melbourne, and Luke Jackson was almost a ruck rover. Majority of the day and was best on ground. So it'd be interesting to see.
He's going to do that, is he? He's going to be a tall mid.
Well, he's a freak. He can do it.
Yeah.
Here we go. Second half about to get underway. The Dockers over the Blues by 3 points as we speak. Gather round on ABC Sport.
And the freak launches himself too early. De Koning stays down and wins the ruck contest out of the middle. Cripps may have been taken in the back by Jackson. Fremantle get the clearance and get away with it. Brayshaw, handball a little wide of Sharp, so Walters will come in and mop it up. Wheels, pops it into the 50. Jackson, thought he had his arms chopped by Sherrod, at least he was claiming so. Carlton get the exit. Boyd pops it towards Cripps. Had De Koning right beside him. Handed it off, then Sherrod, now Sard, navigating their way through plenty of traffic. Akers now hooks his kick up towards the centre square. Finds Carroll, just forward of the centre circle, up towards half forward, presenting Curnow, takes the mark, turns 60 out, he's looking for Mackay at home, bit too high, and off hands, it'll roll through for a minor score. Crowd behind the goal umpire almost had a bit of joy thinking it had cleared the pack entirely. We're going to get a score review here. The soft call is touched though.
Yeah, Harry
I don't know whether anyone has. Is Ryan right hand.
This will be a quick decision, you'd think. A minor score incoming for the Blues, which will make it a 2-point game. They'll be 3-6-24. Fremantle's 4-2-26. I'm surprised it's taking this long. Ryan's hand
shouldn't take this long.
His fingers have clearly moved.
Charlie Curnow only just half kicked that one too. You could have almost excused him for pinning the ears back and knocking it through. I think he just tried to put it to advantage to Harry Mackay.
The most frustrating part is he's put up his hand straight. It's a dead straight, flat hand, and you can see his pinky finger clearly move.
And on top of that, you're looking for evidence to go against the soft call. Here we go.
Finally, we get the correct decision, which will be a minor score, but it's wasted a minute of our lives.
Big g'day to Jay and Nat, loving the call. They're waiting at the border crossing between Romania and Hungary. Can the Blues, says Jay and Nat. Hungary for 4 and zip. So getting in touch, 0437 774 774. Gather around on ABC Sport. The ball's on the commentary wing. The Dockers had it through Brayshaw to Walters. Tried to get a hand pass away, but stolen by De Koning. Got in front of Sarong. Kicks the Blues back inside forward 50. Ryan. Lovely defensive mark for the Dockers. Will flare the ball out to Sharp, who has it at left half back. Looks to move it short to Frederick. Pauses for a moment. Could go short if he wanted to Clark, and that is ignored. Stands in front of the Jack Oatley stand. Kicks towards left half forward. Decent battle on here, and that's a great mark in the middle of a line of 5. Wiedering was up. Strong hands to bring down the Sherrin. Moves the yellow ball back inside his defensive 50. Sard will switch play out to Akers, who has it at left half back, and he'll caress the ball forward, and Cottrell marks. Goal kicker for the Blues early in the game, and another 50 going against Fremantle. How many is that today?
I reckon it's 3.
Yeah, I reckon on nearly every occasion the umpire's telling the bloke on the mark to come back, and he's just got the headphones on.
I think that was Sonny Walters, wasn't it, running too close?
It was either Sarong or Walters. You could have raffled the
Raffled it, yeah.
But again, they were in the area. So here's Cottrell. He's at centre half forward. Kicks towards full forward. De Koning went up, got hands to it, couldn't mark it, spills to ground. Blues have it out the side. Durden got it away to Elijah Hollands. Not a great hand pass meant for Kennedy. Can't pick it up first time. Gathers a second. Got a hand pass back to Kemp, who's at right half forward. Kicks high up into the air in the right forward pocket. They all fly. Punch came from Jackson. Spilled down to Kennedy again. Chance to shoot on goal. It's a long range effort. Just touched on the way through. Ryan has it in the goal square, and then he's taken over the line by Durden under pressure. Kennedy involved in all that. Newman was the player who sent it long to the goal square. Ryan was under pressure and was happy enough, I reckon, to be tackled over by Durden. Another minor score. Carlton 3-7-25, Fremantle 4-2-26. The Dockers by points, 4 and a bit gone in the third.
Chipping away at the deficit in a slugfest. Ryan launches one towards a pack at the defensive edge of the square. Off hands, Brayshaw is released. Up towards the broadcast wing, he puts it in the path of Walters. Bit slow to get onto the ball, uncharacteristic. And Sard catches up to him, gathers on his own, breaks away, and gives it off to McGovern, who kicks to Cottrell. Now out wide to Elijah Hollands. A bit of space behind the logo. Looks inside. Kick well done to Kennedy, the opposing sevens, as Nat Fyfe tries to make sure he can't wheel around. Opens the angle into the scoreboard pocket. Off the hands of Durden. Mackay met a brick wall in Luke Ryan. And we'll get a ball up, 30 out from goal. 45-degree angle to the right. The Cathedral northern end, which Carlton are kicking to, which is the left-hand side of your radio dial.
Haven't had a goal since the 17-minute mark of the second term. That for the Blues as well. One down by Jackson here for the Dockers. Bounces the way, though, of the Blues. The Holland tried to work his way through. He was met by Young. Comes out to Sarong.
Well done.
Ooh, great play from Newman coming one way and also Tracy the other. Spilled out towards Kemp. Got it on to Elijah Hollands. Kicks towards full forward. Curto flew up, couldn't mark. Chance for Cottrell. He snaps a goal and misses. Durden was at the drop. Hand pass to Cottrell. Had the chance in the left forward pocket. Couldn't find the major opening. Another behind. Scores a level. 3-8 Carlton. 4-2 Fremantle. Both 26 points apiece. 6 gone in the third.
Last 6 scores, all behinds for the Blues, and Fremantle goes straight up the spine. Long ball from Aish. Found Fyfe. Now to the outer side. Frederick. In the sidecar, he gives it off to Sharp, who spots Amos, had a bit of space on McGovern, dropped down, back with the flight. McGovern did everything he could to try not impede the Dockers' tall forward. Whistle, free kick, advantage, and waltzing in, the goal we paid to Sam Switkowski. And just like that, Fremantle are back in front. 6-point lead, 5-2-32, plays 3-8-26. 6.5 into the third term. It's Gather Round on ABC Sport.
Well, it was good, good ball movement, but it was.
And that was because look at there's an Elijah Hollands coming off the ground here. I reckon that was their breakdown. They got the overlap on the other side.
Yeah, it was the far winger, wasn't it?
Far wing, because he wasn't able to fulfil his role. He's got the nasty cork, I'd imagine, by the way he's moving. But that was the only way that was going to allow Freo to get that sort of ball movement out, you know, and they were able to go the length of the field. McCullum was a bit stiff, wasn't he? I thought he competed pretty well here. I don't think there's much in
not
that.
much
Looking
in
at the replay.
Basically, a body line spoil, wasn't it? But Carlton had all the play. They had 5-1 inside 50s before that play just then. They just weren't able to capitalise on the scoreboard.
It's tough footy sometimes. You creep your way, you battle your way, you get level, and then immediately the opposition team kick a goal. Holding the ball decision here, going against Fremantle. It's the wrong player who was dispossessed. It's given a free kick against him. Koning with the tackle. Fremantle need to make sure they don't give away another 50. Had some problems with that today. Here's De Koning in the middle of the ground. Kicks it long towards full forward. Jackson flew, went through his hands, got fingertips to it. Pearce is there, looked to burrow his way forward, then he's tackled, wrapping him up. Razio Fantasia. Ought to be put aloft between centre half forward and full forward for the Blues. They're at the northern end or the left of our broadcast position in this the third term. Off the hands of Mackay. It came down to the Dockers. Young got it onto Clark. He pops it out towards left half back. Sharp's able to gather. Hand pass was very hot. Doing well. Walker dragged it in and then goes to ground. Cottrell looks to hold it to him. Umpire says it'll be a ball up. Hard up against the boundary. Right half forward for the Blues. They're about 60 out from their attacking goal. Liz Walsh is on the boundary.
Elijah Hollins went straight down into the rooms accompanied by the doctor before he pointed to his groin, so we'll wait to see what the issue has been.
Frustration for one of the two Hollins who was born in South Australia, but fingers crossed he'll be A-OK as he looks right at home amongst the Navy Blues. Boundary throwing didn't amount to much, so we'll try again. That right half forward for Carlton. De Koning and Jackson do battle once again. So obsessed with each other that they didn't really spot the ball drop. Bouncing around a couple of bodies. Fogarty can tumble one inside 50. Mackay now wrestling for position with Pearce. Knocked it towards the scoreboard pocket. Brayshaw paddled it wide looking for Sharp. It's picked up by Newman. He's escorted over the boundary line in front of the hill. 6-point lead to the Dockers at the moment. Earlier today, Sydney defeated West Coast by 26 points, and still to come as part of the doubleheader here, the Western Bulldogs in Geelong.
Spun back in. De Koning got it down for the Blues to Akers in the right forward pocket. Snapped around the body. Going up, Curnow! Let out from full forward and takes the mark right in front of goal. No more than 20 metres out.
Well, that's more like it from Charlie Curnow. We haven't really seen much of it today. He's been well held by the young man in his third game. But that's just the opportunity when you get to run and jump at the football. He's so hard to stop. It's impossible to stop when it's like that. And what about the hit out from Tom De Koning?
Yeah.
He's put on a silver platter for his teammate.
One of their two forward behemoths. Here is Charlie Curnow. On the way in, he's kicked his 11th of the season and his first today. Punches the air. He celebrates with the sizable contingent of Blues fans at the northern end of Adelaide Oval. Scores a level again. 11 minutes gone in the third. Fremantle are 5-2-32. The Blues are 4-8-32. Gather round on ABC Sport. Clint Wilden alongside Aaron Bryans in commentary. Our experts, Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy.
Well, Tom De Koning has started his second half the way he finished, and his ability to get involved, not just with the tap work that you called out then, Murph. His tap out to Akers allowed that nice kick inside, but he's tackling, he's chasing, he's getting the centre clearances as well. So that's what everyone's been wanting from Tom De Koning for a long time. And as you said as well about Charlie Curnow, finally gets some separation. And any of the forwards, they've had none today. You get some and you get the rewards from it.
52 consecutive games for Charlie Curnow, kicking a goal. Out of the middle, Carlton get a quick clearance as well. De Koning takes it out of the ruck with Jackson flying early. Kick towards the attacking 50. Mackay met it on the bounce. Caught in the tackle from Fife. We'll get a ball up. 45 out, slightly to the right. Mitch Turner's on fire today with the stats.
Loves a stat, Mitch. Corby-like.
Tossed up. Jackson this time stays down, wins the tap straight to Ryan. And immediately caught up by a couple of Blues. So we'll get another ball up closer towards the paint of the attacking 50.
Put up into the air again. Only won it down. Spike, though, who emerges with it. Hand passes back inside defensive 50 to Johnson. Hand pass for Brayshaw to run onto. Met by Williams. Got tackled. Just got a hand pass out. Cripps drags it in. Hand passes it forward. Nicely worked to Fogarty. Couldn't find a teammate. Sarong involved for the Dockers. Now on inside to Clark and then to Fife. Lovely ball. Spots Sharp in space, left half back. He takes 2 bounces, runs towards centre wing. Steps back inboard, elects the kick, sends it inside forward 50. Amos, dropped the mark he should have taken up against Wiedering. He goes again and then tackles Kemp without the football. Umpire says play on. Wiedering picks it up for the Blues, sends it towards the outer wing. Brought down there by the Dockers in Hughes, gave it to Sarong, came back to Fife, now to Brayshaw, who stands on the outer edge of the centre circles.
Looking for options, there's a wall of Blues waiting at centre half back. He'll lean it over the top of them for Frederick. Bit too long in the end. Reaching back with one arm, couldn't reel it in. Sharp, though, front and square. Sends it in. Jackson launched early. Over the back of him. Tabner with a fumble. Walters as well. Falls in. Can't gather the footy. Wrenching it out. Kemp can't control it. Rolling more at the moment towards the top of the goal square for Fremantle. Williams is taken high. And a free kick will go to the Blues defender. Right in the defensive goal square. In front of the Riverbank stand. They're going to play a ball up. Play continues. De Koning knocks it down. Clearance goes Fremantle's way. Sarong to Johnson, misses. Perfect stoppage play, but unable to cap it off with a major. Minor score puts Fremantle in front.
Western Force signed Kurtley Beale today. They could have done with him at the back of that pack.
If we haven't had enough already this afternoon, we're going to get a score review to see if this is even a behind. So we're going upstairs once again.
Just back yourself, mate, I reckon. I've about had enough of these reviews.
So we're checking to see if it's clipped the right hand behind post.
Gone over it, looks like.
Yeah. The footage is incredibly grainy. Tough task when you've got a pack house behind you and all the punters blend into the footy.
The only person who can possibly tell here is the goal umpire. In the right position.
You also have a boundary rider on the other side, boundary umpire on the other side who can also have a look at it. So
umpire's call. I'm tipping.
Yeah.
There you go.
What else could it possibly have been?
Have you got some time around your expert work to jump on the goal line, Liz?
Well,
I think you do a good job.
If the price is right, I reckon you'll do it.
Fremantle by a point.
Right. Money talks.
Here's Williams with it. Williams goes to Kemp in the left back pocket, which is my whole argument about the bounce. You incentivise the bounce, you pay umpires who can bounce more money. I'll bet you find umpires who are happy to do it. Here's Kemp, who's beyond defensive 50 towards the commentary wing. Kerno went after it, couldn't quite get to it. Ace's hand pass backwards was stolen away. Beautifully gathered there by Fantasia. It's sent long towards goal. It stops in the goal square. Must have had a bit of extra water that patch because it literally was bouncing through and it stopped and Ryan was able to gather and he got it to Johnson in the right back pocket for the Dockers. Sends it into the middle of the ground. Met by Williams again of the Blues. Works it to Carroll. Bounces a kick inside forward 50. It comes out to Hewitt. Pops a kick over the top. Kerno marks. Deep in the left forward pocket, about 40 from goal. He'll start his approach beyond attacking 50 with his boots right up against the boundary.
It was good composure by Carlton there. They could have just banged the ball back inside 50 from the turnover, but they were smart with the way in which they used the ball by hand and foot. And then when you get that turnover there, there's always going to be a forward free, and Charlie found himself in some space.
Charlie Curnow has won today. We're right behind the kick. It is a thing of beauty. Never looked like missing the moment it hit the boot. A second for him, and the Blues are in front. Up by 5 points. 5-8-38, Carlton. Fremantle 5-3-33. 16 gone in the third term. Gather round on ABC Sport. Liz Walsh is on the boundary.
Yeah, Carlton might be back in front, but there's some bad news for them on the benches. Elijah Holland came back out from the rooms wearing a training top and carrying a bag of ice. The official word from Carlton is that it's his hip or abductor, which is taking him out, and Matt Owies, the sub, is into the game.
It was one of the first times we've seen Carlton actually be able to set up the wall and get an in-out-in berth, an exit from Fremantle, but turn it back over and get it back in there. We saw the hierarchy too in the forward line. Big Charlie Curnow says, I wouldn't have thought so, Ratio. Get out of my space, I'll take this one.
Carlton in front for the first time since the 9-minute mark of the opening term. 5 points their lead. Tracy wins it down in the middle against Mackay. Comes out towards Kennedy. Got a handball through Young. Mackay now giving it away. There's a whistle bringing it all back. Fremantle's way to Hayden Young. On the 45, he finds Johnson. Now out wide to Banfield. Just forward of centre wing on the broadcast wing. Banfield, who had a hot start, quiet since, hands it off to Ryan. High ball into the 50. Early launch from Tracy. Got all over the back of Mackay. At the back, Emmett had a bit of space to tumble it towards goal. Couldn't quite work the angle, and he's missed it on the right-hand side. 4-point lead to the Blues. 5-8-38. Fremantle 5-4-34. Approaching time on in the third term.
I'm not sure you can just jump at a contest and completely miss the ball and jump into someone's back and not give away a free kick, but anyway.
Blues bring it from the left back pocket through Boyd, back into the sunshine. Wiedering has to shield his eyes, and then he steps back into the shade and sends it beyond defensive 50 to spoils from Tracy at the back of the line of 3. It's over for a throw-in. Liz Walsh is downstairs.
Looks like Fremantle are about to make their sub as well, with Jago O'Meara starting to warm up in the hands of the trainer. I'll just check in with Fremantle to see if that's tactical.
Tracy won it down up against Kennedy. Young tried to get it. He's on the deck under pressure. Hacked forward, or actually backwards by Fogarty. Inside Fremantle's forward 50. Trying to emerge with it. Hewitt, his kick was smothered. It came out again towards Brayshaw. Hand pass inside the attacking 50 again for the Dockers. Still chaos ball. Desperate stakes from both sides, with the Blues hanging on to a 4-point lead. It's been locked in. Ball up at right half forward for the Dockers. Carlton by 4. They've gone 19 minutes into the third.
Tossed up to Koning, straight to Cripps. And Switkowski right behind him, gives it away. Williams around the body, hooks it to Curnow. Claims it out in front, just forward of centre wing. Doesn't waste any time, popping back up to the attacking edge. He was looking for Kennedy. Couldn't control it under a bit of pressure from Hughes, and Fremantle get away with one. Banfield over the top to Young. Now Johnson turns towards the attacking edge. Back to Young inside. Spots a target all alone at centre half forward. Gathering Emmett, unselfish. Pops it in the path of Frederick, who looked to do the same to Walters. He should have gone back. Kemp was right in front of him, managed to smother and force a boundary throw in 25 out from goal. Excellent effort from the Blues defender. Poor decision making from the attacking Docker.
Well, it's a couple of times now the Dockers have tried to be a little bit too unselfish. I reckon Fife did it early.
Yeah.
And now Frederick as well. Sometimes you just got to back in yourself and kick the goal.
Carlton's lead is 4 points. Late in the third, thrown back into Koning, took clean possession, was tackled. Ball goes to ground. Come out the side here. It's almost a rugby pass off the deck from Hewitt as they go backwards to Kemp. Clearing kick is beyond defensive 50, and it's out of bounds on the full. It'll be a free kick to Fremantle. Aish to have it at left half forward. He steers it inboard, only just far enough to be a mark, and Brayshaw has it. Still 2 kicks from goal. In the bright sunshine here in Adelaide, Brayshaw puts the Dockers to the teeth of goal. De Koning off straight through his hands. Fortunately, the only numbers back are those in Blues colours. Akers got a hand pass forward. Hewitt tackled. He had time. Absolutely tremendous tackle. Emmett got him, and there's a bit of push and shove afterwards. Emmett has met him fronts on. I'm not sure what the argument is for. Maybe there was a bit of follow-up afterwards, but gave him a shove in the chest afterwards, did Emmett. That's the reason the Blues are unhappy, but that's a great tackle. Rewarded with the free kick. He can go back and should kick this for Fremantle. He'll start in line with the right hand behind post. He'll put boots a ball from 35. Looking for his second time, Emmett. He's on the way in. It's an unconvincing strike of the football, but it's enough. It sails through to put Fremantle back in front by 2 points. A second to Emmett. 21 minutes gone in the third. It's the Dockers 6-4-40. Carlton 5-8-38. Gather round on ABC Sport. Clint Wilton alongside Aaron Bryans, our experts Brett DeLidio and Mark Murphy.
Yeah, it was just unnecessary by Nick Newman. He had numbers just to use the hands, but he certainly didn't buy any of that candy that he was trying to sell.
He certainly did. It was a great tackle from Emmett, but you sing a guy's praises in Big Tommy De Koning. He had a chance just to sew that one up. It's just gone straight through, and that's what brings on that pressure and invites it, doesn't it? And they had to try and make it up from defensive 30. It makes it really hard for Newman, who was trying to get onto his left. Well read by Emmett. Back. I don't mind a little push after it. I don't mind that from a young bloke.
So this low-scoring slugfest is now a seesawing thriller. Fremantle up by 2 points. Jackson wins it down, was looking for Young. Trickles in the path of Chera, bouncing off Sarong, held his ground but coughed it up to O'Meara, who's now on for the Dockers. The sub has been activated. He's wrapped up in the tackle, goes to ground, ball up. I was going to ask you boys about that. O'Meara's not exactly the game-breaking player he once was, and I get fresh legs, but in a tight contested affair, is it the right call to tactically bring him on now?
I think so.
Out of the stoppage, Carroll finds Oliver Hollins, caught in the tackle under a bit of pressure from O'Meara, gives it away. Sard comes in to try and assist. His coat hanged by Young. Free kick to go to the Blues. True centre wing right in front of the Max Bashir stand. Carlton will look to answer back here. The All-Australian journeyman. And Adam Sard pops it short. Just the required 15. Gets it back from Carroll though. He's directing Williams to come and assist. 3 disposals in a matter of seconds, and the last one heading towards Akers. Knocked away from him by Banfield, 30 from home. And Kennedy spears him over the boundary line. It'll be tossed back into play. About 23 out, left forward pocket at the northern end. Liz Walsh downstairs.
Yeah, Matthew Johnson has been subbed out of the game tactically. Jago O'Meara is in for Fremantle.
Ball hurled back in. Jackson, front position, got a hand on it. Sat down, the football did, for Young. Through Clark. And on in turn to Walker. Not a great hand pass for Emmett. Tackled by Kennedy, dispossessed. Umpires let it play on. Trying to pick it up again, Young. He's met strongly by Carroll. Young on the bottom of that pack for the Dockers. Ball up the call. Just inside the centre square. Defensive edge for Fremantle. That might have been a smidge unlucky. Coney against Jackson. Jackson with the fingertip tap, but it's spilled down to Akers. Gave it back to Cripps. Backtrack, spins around, gets a kick around the body. It's a 3-on-3 inside forward 50. No mark taken. Spills down to Fogarty. He got past one Docker, tried to hand pass back to Owies. Came again towards Fogarty, and now to Chera, who snaps at goal. He misses left. It's a behind. Fremantle's lead is halved. 1 point ball game. 6-4-40. To 5-9-39, 24 and a bit gone in the third. Gather round on ABC Sport. Here's Aaron Bryans.
Quick exit from Aish. It's Pearce, his skipper at left half back, and now O'Meara, who has been lively in the mere minutes he's been subbed on. Now to Brayshaw. Quiet round last week for him, just the 21 touches, but back to his best so far this afternoon. Sent it in the Taberner direction behind play. McGovern was put down by Fife. That freed them up a little bit, and they'll get out of here with a handball chain to O'Meara. Young released him, and back with the flight. Fife takes the mark. Inside his range, you'd think. Tight angle, left forward pocket. Man on the marks, 48 out. Nat Fife's pretty comfortable with the distance.
I haven't seen him take too many set shots of late. Murph, have you? Has he got this journey still in the legs?
I'm not sure. Late in this third quarter, Clint's shaking his head. He's seen a fair bit of him over in the west.
I think the main concern is don't injure yourself trying to power through here. The 32-year-old Nat Fife doesn't have any new tricks. Sits up at the top of the goal square off hands. Tackle laid. Tracy wrapped up Akers, who showed no intent to get rid of the footy. And a free kick to the Dockers big man at the top of the goal square.
By the way, I'm not bagging Nat Fife. I think he still does a lot of great work, but he just
from 52, he wasn't going to make that journey.
He wasn't making that journey.
No.
And just again, Carl just making just a decision to sell candy or to balk 20 metres out from goal.
Josh Tracy, dead in front. Has his first of the afternoon. And this arm wrestle slightly goes in Fremantle's favour. They're back in front. Our fourth lead change of the afternoon. Oh, they're already in front, but they can. They're up by 7 now. This is my poor man.
It's been tight though. It's been
7-4-46 to 5-9-39. 4.5 to play in the third term. Liz Walsh downstairs.
Yeah, some real bad luck for Fremantle down here, with Michael Frederick coming from the ground, looking really uncomfortable on his right leg. The doctor took one look at him and said, nah, he's out. And literally, this is a few moments just after they subbed in Jago O'Meara for Matthew Johnson as a tactical move.
Yeah, it's disappointing, isn't it, for the Dockers? But you're right, Murph. Yeah, the want to try and create a score or an exit there by running out of that defensive 50, not ideal.
Make it tougher for the Dockers if Frederick is unavailable again to return to the fray. Hewitt gets the clearance out of the middle for the Blues, sends it long towards full forward. No mark taken, spilled down to Walker, met immediately by two Blues. Coming in either side of him, they take him to ground. Good tackle. Fantasia was one of them. The one was Durden. Throwing up into the air. DeConing palmed it down. Gave it to Kennedy. To Owies. Now to Chera. He snaps around the body from 45 out. It's missing right. Wasn't far away. A minor score. Back to 1 goal the difference. Fremantle's lead 6 points. 27 gone in the third. Let's head quickly downstairs. Liz Walsh.
Yeah, Michael Frederick definitely out for the game. He's got ice taped on his right hamstring.
So the Dockers are man down now, but up by 6. Long exit cleared the pack in the end as it rolls its way towards centre wing on the gather round logo. Newman's there for the Blues. Over the top to Kennedy. Now overhead to Hewitt. A little quiet for the North Adelaide product. Flares this kick a little wide, trying to find it towards Owies, who was certainly outmatched in terms of height. And Pearce knocks it over the boundary line. 30 out. Left forward pocket for Carlton. High scoring third term after a slow start here at the Adelaide Oval. First game of the double header to continue gather round. Toss back into play. Brayshaw nearly ran all the way around the footy. Eventually becomes the tackler on Owies, falling into him on the paint of 50. And we'll get a ball up. Closer to left half forward for Carlton. DeConing straight to Sarong. And Brayshaw launches it with the barrel out of defensive 55.
Still got a few tricks, Clint.
Yep, certainly does.
May not have the length of the kick, but certainly has the power in the legs to launch himself into the sky as he floats over the pack. Takes the mark for the Dockers and sends it up to right half forward. He's looking for Banfield. Only had eyes for the footy. Newman didn't and bowled him over. No whistle. Can't get the exit. 5. Tried to take the mark. Is cleaned up. Big collision. He's popped up okay, clutching his jaw, and it is on the broadcast wing. They come from everywhere. Fogarty's the one who smacked him hard. He's in a bit of trouble as well. Clutching at his wrist, which shows you exactly where he hit him. Both players on their feet. The scuffle is split, but there will be a penalty against the Blues for it. So Fife will be marched towards the 50.
I don't think there was any malice in it.
No,
it was just a
unfortunate.
Pure contest. Tried to spoil the ball, came off the interchange and just threw everything at it. But
tried to hit the ball, but because Fife went for the chest mark, he then missed the ball and just hit him fair in the chin.
Yeah.
Big forearm as well. It's very lucky Nat Fife to still be out there and not even have any sort of cuts or bloody nose. He's an absolute warrior, Nat Fife, as we've known for so long at the Fremantle Football Club. He's gone for a long bomb from 50 out. It's floating across the face and a minor score on the right-hand side. Fremantle's lead back to 7 points. 7-5, 47 plays, 5-10, 40, 30 minutes into the third term. Gather round on ABC Sport.
Oh, could have been so much worse watching in the replay.
Could have been, yeah.
It's lucky, Fogarty. I know there was no malice intended at all, but yeah, making contact into the face of Fife. Kick for the Blues towards centre wing. Going up was Jackson. And fished to it and saw it across the boundary line for another throw-in.
I think because he came from the boundary or from the interchange, Fife had no idea that he was there. So he didn't sense him, didn't protect himself at all.
Ball spun back in again. Koenig stretches. Jackson knocked it back. Here's Sarong. Throws it on the boot, on the logo. Commentary wing. Kicks up into the air. Coming towards it, Tracy. Couldn't mark. Pressure came from Kemp at the back. Spilled down there to Brayshaw. Picks it up for Fremantle. Kicks into the sunshine in the left forward pocket. Mid by McGovern though. Coming the other way for the Blues. Runs hard up against the boundary. Sends it towards the outer wing. Walker got in front of his opponent. Worked it down to Aish. Aish shares it with Walker. Back to Aish again. A little sidestep was clever. Got away from the blue that was on him. Fife attacks the football up against McGovern. Leapt into the air. Couldn't mark, but it's off hands. And over the boundary line for a throw-in. 50 out from Freo's attacking goal. Heading to the river end or to the right of our broadcast position in what is left of this third term. 31 minutes gone. The Dockers lead the Blues by 7 points. Gather round continuing on ABC Sport.
The sun's starting to set in the city of churches. Still to come, the Western Bulldogs and Geelong. De Koning wins it down to Cottrell. Clean spin away from Fife, but his kick is smothered by Switkowski, who keeps fighting for the footy close to the attacking 50. Cripps is in there as well, trying to buffet his way past. Young scrubs a handball out, looking for Brayshaw. Couldn't control it. Sarong trying to reel it in a tackle, always dangerous. Spills out towards Switkowski. Young, hard, put his head over the footy. Won it. Releases Aish, who shrugs off the tackle. Big bomb from 50, and again, too far wide to the right. Fremantle up by 8. 7-6-48 to Carlton's 5-10-40. Just over a minute to play in this third term.
They've had all the play here in the last 5 or 6 minutes, the Dockers. They need to really capitalise on the scoreboard.
Williams into the left back pocket. Here's Wiedering. Moves it on again. Back inboard to Kemp. Pops it out towards Saad. Marking right at the very edge of the shadows. He's near the right back pocket for the Blues. Kicks beyond defensive 50. Had to be well marked by Curnow. Draper was right with him. Curnow was up to the task though. Marks it at right half back. Sends it towards the commentary wing. Going to ground was Clark. Alongside him, Fantasia. It's over the footy for a boundary throw-in. True centre wing out of sight of the ground. Fremantle's lead is 8 points as we close in on three-quarter time. If you want to send us a text, 0437 774 774. We'll run through a few at the break.
De Koning wins it down. He's looking for his skipper. Bowled over by Young. On the logo, they fight for it. Cripps does win out, but gives it straight to Jackson. Brayshaw to Sharp now. Back to Clark. They've got to go if they want to get a late score here. Hands it back to Sharp, to centre wing. Mark taken. Young turns. Down the line he goes. Sarong looks inside. Excellent delivery. Low and hard to Banfield. Into the pocket he goes. His target's Tracy, coming across Taberner and off hands. It rolls through for a minor score. That'll just about do us, you'd think, for three-quarters of footy here at the Adelaide Oval. Fremantle up by 9 points. 7-7-49. Plays 5-10-40.
Great crowd in. Great day. Gather round. Continuing on ABC Sport as McGovern thumps it beyond defensive 50. Travels the pack. Ryan turns. Tries to stop it against Durden. Both look to lock it in as the siren sounds for three-quarter time. It is the absolute example of an arm wrestle. Two sides both desperate to stay unbeaten in 2024. Fremantle lead the Blues on a ground that Carlton has never won at. The Dockers are up by 9 points. 7-7-49 to Carlton. 5-10-40. The goal kickers for Fremantle, Emmett Scott 2, Taberner, Amos, Tracy, Switkowski and Banfield, the other goal kickers for the Dockers. While for Carlton, goals coming 2 to Curnow and singles to Cottrell, Cripps and Chera. Three-quarter time. Carlton needs something. Can they find it in this final quarter? Can the Dockers hang on to go 4-0 to start 2024. In the game earlier today, Sydney beat the West Coast Eagles by 26 points. The Bulldogs and the Cats to come next. We'll get a preview from that in just a moment as well. But wherever you're listening on ABC Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on the ABC Listen app, look for the AFL button. This is Gather Round on ABC Sport.
So, what makes us Australian?
Just be whoever you want to be.
And who's the obvious person to ask how that's transforming?
Welcome to Broken Hill, Miriam.
I'm on a quest to learn what it takes to change and adapt.
Occupation? I'm actually an escort.
An influencer.
Miriam Margolyes, Impossibly Australian.
You are changing the world.
Starts Tuesday, April 9 on ABC TV and always free, always entertaining on ABC iView.
You're listening to the AFL Gather Round. AFL. On radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And take us with you on the ABC Listen app.
The Sharp, who spots Amos, had a bit of space on McGovern, dropped down, back with the flight. McGovern did everything he could to try not impede the Dockers tall forward. Whistle, free kick, advantage, and waltzing in. The goal we paid to Sam Switkowski.
Spun back in. De Koning got it down for the Blues. The Akers in the right forward pocket. Snapped around the body. Going up, Curnow! Let out from full forward and takes the mark right in front of goal. Here is Charlie Curnow on the way in. He's kicked his 11th of the season and his first today. Punches the air, scores a level again. Met by Williams again of the Blues. Works it to Carroll, bounces a kick inside forward 50. It comes out to Hewitt, pops a kick over the top. Curnow marks. Charlie Curnow has won today. We're right behind the kick. It is a thing of beauty. Never looked like missing the moment it hit the boot. A second for him, and the Blues are in front.
Elijah Holland came back out from the rooms wearing a training top and carrying a bag of ice. The official word from Carlton is that it's his hip or abductor.
Akers got a hand pass forward. Hewitt tackled. He had time. Absolutely tremendous tackle. Looking for his second, Tom Emmett. He's on the way in. It's an unconvincing strike of the football, but it's enough. It sails through to put Fremantle back in front by 2 points.
Matthew Johnson has been subbed out of the game tactically. Jager O'Meara is in for Fremantle.
Sits up at the top of the goal square off hands. Tackle away. Tracy wrapped up Akers, who showed no intent to get rid of the footy. Josh Tracy, dead in front. Has his first of the afternoon, and this arm wrestle slightly goes in Fremantle's favour.
The 2024 AFL Gather Round.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
3/4 time, Fremantle lead the Blues by 9 points. After this, gather round continues here at the Adelaide Oval with the Bulldogs versus Geelong. What's cooking, Brett Sprigg?
G'day, Clint. Intriguing matchup and doubleheader, of course, coming up later on. The Dogs and the Cats. The Bulldogs having won their past two. The Cats, of course, still unbeaten. And again, as I say, teams with a bit of a fascinating rivalry the past couple of years. The Dogs did beat Geelong last year, but Geelong had won the previous 5 before that. And just keen to see if the Dogs can crack the code on Chris Scott's unbeaten Cats. We'll head inside both camps in the pre-game build-up. Ed Richards returns from concussion for the Bulldogs, and he was third in their BNF last year, so you can't undersell the importance for him. While Reece Stanley among the inclusions for the Cats, of course, out goes young Toby Conway. I'm keen to explore their sort of ruck future going forward. Dean Brogan will join us, a great ruckman in his own right, alongside Rod Jamieson. We'll have Lauren Borden here. Liz Walsh is doubling up. It's the doubleheader of Liz Walsh here at Adelaide Oval, so can't wait for the Dogs and the Cats coming up next, Clint.
As close as we get to a Michelin chef on ABC Sport, that is Brett Sprigg. Look forward to his call coming up for the Bulldogs versus the Cats. Fremantle lead this one by 9 points. Mark Murphy, Brett Delidio, goodness me. What happens now? Who gets over the line between the Dockers and the Blues?
Oh, it's a great question, Clint. I actually couldn't tell you at this point in time that the Dockers really choked up that second half of that third quarter then and had all the momentum but just couldn't quite capitalise. And I think that's what's going to happen for them a lot with a younger forward line in Amiss and Tracy down there. They haven't got someone who really commands it or take a huge big grab. I think, though, if they can get some good clean entries. But I've just been super impressed with both teams defensively. They've both just been able to... it's the first time I've seen Fremantle live this year, so their ability to defend the ground and not give Carlton the corridor or any overlap run or whatsoever has been first class, and it's the reason why they're up now by 9 points.
We don't want this defensive style to win out, though, do we, Clint? We want attacking style of football.
I don't think it's going to get thrown out the window just yet, though, Murph. I think it's kept them in the game for so long now.
No doubt.
But the cracks will come.
Inevitably, it's going to open up in this last quarter, and Carlton had all the run in that start of that third quarter and couldn't capitalise on the scoreboard. Fremantle exactly the same at the end of the quarter. So who's going to make the most of their momentum when they get it?
Imagine if we get a free-running final term. We wanted a close one in gather round. We might just have one underway in the final term. Koenig won it down. Hand pass forward from Hewitt. Cripps couldn't quite get there. Fogarty missed it as well. Scooped up by Clark of the Dockers. Hand pass forward to Brayshaw. Kicks Fremantle towards right half forward. First to attack the football, Wiedering. Read that really well. Gathered in the sunshine, outer side of the ground. Kicked to a contest. Clark was up over the top of Akers. Hands to the football, and then it's over for a boundary throw-in.
There's just no easy, uncontested marks, is there, when you're playing against Fremantle? You have to earn every possession you get. They're so good at covering those outlets.
Henry from Melbourne says this game has draw written all over it. 9 points the difference at the moment. It's Brayshaw on the restart, gets it away to Young. It's a dangerous kick, but it was precise. That's what he's normally like, finding the open window of a moving car, and that is in the form of Jager O'Meara. And he kicks towards right half forward again. Running forward was Brayshaw, and he takes the mark. Up against Carroll. They're probably 70, 75 from goal here, the Dockers. They're wearing their stealth black kit. Carlton in predominantly white. Kicking to the right forward pocket, and Amos out to mark, and he gets hands to it and hangs onto it.
Don't you love it when you talk about something in the three-quarter time break and it comes to fruition in terms of some free ball movement? But Carlton should have done a better job there. We have not seen that sort of play from the Dockers all game, really, have we? Their ability just to find an open target inside forward 50, but
there's a slow ball movement too. They should have had numbers back, Carlton, and sitting in that space.
It's a tight angle from the right forward pocket. The Gavin Wanganeen stand over his right shoulder. He's in the bright sunshine from 45 metres out. Amos sends it on his way. He misses right. 10-point ball game. 7-8-50 Fremantle. 5-10-40 Carlton. Julian's listening in Bali. Great call, fellas. Love I can listen anywhere. You can do that when you're streaming on the ABC Listen app. Great you could be with us.
Zach Williams plays on from the defensive goal square. A little 1-2 with Sard. Now up towards the eastern side. Kick was in the path of Akers. He's crunched by O'Meara. Socket off the deck though for the Blues as it rolls its way through centre wing. Mackay out to meet it. Launches into the footy. Aish right next to him. And just to hand it off to Carroll. Now Newman hooks it around the body into the 50. Kennedy set himself. Couldn't control it with Walker in front. Whistle. Push. Ball up. Umpire takes the footy. 40 out from goal. Slightly left to centre. Quick ball up as well as Jackson gets front position. Straight to Cripps though. Trying to barrel his way through the pack. Gets it out towards Sarong in the end. Thrusts it up to the outer wing. Cut off by Carlton. Williams bowled over Switkowski and held onto the footy. Gave it off. Kick smothered those. Hewitt tried to get it inside. Emmett got there. Ricochets out. They'll get a third chance here, Carlton. Carroll into the 50. Whistle. Hold. They'll get it. They kept forcing it forward and finally they went out. And a free kick to go to Carlton. It'll be Matthew Owies subbed into the game after the injury to Elijah Hollins.
Nothing shorter than a big celebration.
That's right. I was a bit surprised he was sub. He makes the most of his opportunities, Matt Owies.
3 goals last week. Relegated to the Pine. Looking to strike in this final term. Owies delivers. 4-point game at the Adelaide Oval. And a sea of navy blue erupts around the great state of South Australia. Carlton moved to 6-10-46. Fremantle 7-8-50. 4 minutes into the final term on ABC Sport.
Well, just good persistence, wasn't it, from Carlton? Their ability to not allow the Dockers to get out and get that exit. You know, a couple of smothers in there, some lunging tackles. And it was just a jam ball back inside 50. He took the mark anyway, but it was a free kick before then. And as Aaron called, delivers with the goal, but delivered for us with his celebration. Took off, absolutely screaming at his teammates. He certainly brings energy, doesn't he, Matty Owies?
He certainly does, and that's why I was surprised he was sub, because he does make the most of his opportunity. He kicked 3 last week, so not going to get a lot of possessions as a small forward, but he does make them count.
The Koning wins it down to Cripps. Hand passes back to the Koning, whose hand pass was behind Hewitt. Tapping it forward, though. Carroll couldn't quite get to it. They turn it over. Sharp under real pressure from Akers. Worked it back to Aish, to Brayshaw, who intercepted it the first time. And Brayshaw moves it short. Back to Clark, who has it at right half back. We'll take a deep breath for the Dockers. Fremantle lead by 4 points. Clark will put it down the line. Good contest on the outer side. No one takes possession. Bounces down from the hands of Taberner into Fife, who's tackled by Hewitt and taken to ground. Just forward of the logo, centre wing. Thrown up again. Taking clean possession there was Jackson. Tackled immediately. Got a hand pass out though. Brayshaw moved it back to Young, to Aish to Young. Runs through the logo. Outer side. Switches play. That's a good mark to O'Meara. Was under a bit of pressure too there from Hollins. O'Meara kicks long inside the forward 50. 2-on-2 battle. Stretching Taberner. Couldn't gather. Tracy was able to tap it down onto his boot. Stuck the right boot at it, but misses to the right-hand side. It's a behind for Fremantle. Their lead is now 5 points, 6 gone in the last. Gather round on ABC Sport. Clint Wilton alongside this man, Aaron Bryans.
Mitch McGovern One of the 4 West Australians in the Blues side this afternoon from North Almond. He sends it up towards the broadcast wing. De Koning caught behind Clark, who stood his ground despite the big man right behind him, and takes the intercept mark. The former Cat searching for a response for the Dockers. Pops it into the left forward pocket. Tabner tried to use the body on Kemp and was completely outmatched. Fell over. And as a result, the intercept mark taken by Newman, who sends it long towards right half back. Mackay floats through the pack, takes the chest mark, drills it up through centre wing. He's looking for He's strong. Aish crunched him, took the mark anyway. On the 45, his chair running by, close to the boundary line. Flares it inside 50. Curnow launched, couldn't control. Tackle laid front and square on Akers, ripped out by Kennedy, off to Cottrell, handball chain from Carroll to Mackay, snaps low and hard from 30, sits up in the goal square, knocked away by Sharp, straight to Akers, who snaps from the tight angle and misses. Minor score on the right hand side. Blues fans are ready to explode at the Riverbank stand end. Fremantle 7-9, 51 lead, Carlton 6-11, 47. 7 minutes into the final term. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
Just had a bit more time to steady up then. Blake Acres did all the hard work. He just was too quick to rush himself. Had to have awareness that he had some space and take an extra half a second to just dribble that through.
Dockers work it down the other side. Now it's with Hughes. Has to shield his eyes from the sun. He's at right half back, right up against the boundary line. He'll move it short to Brayshaw, who marks just long enough to be a mark, and the crowd certainly, they grumble a bit over that decision. Brayshaw glanced inboard, now gets told to move it on. He'll do so. Towards the outer wing, 2-on-2 battle. Jackson flew, third man up, couldn't mark. It's down here for the Blues. Now the Sard, he takes a bounce, got away from his opponents, it's back inside his defensive 50. Kick had to be precise, and it was. Chance to set up again here through Newman. Newman will flare it out towards the commentary wing. Akers, good mark against Banfield. He went up and dragged it in. Plays on quickly but turns it over. Pearce, thought he might have had his arms chopped. Umpire says play on. Spills out for the Dockers anyway. Comes to Clark. Hand passes forward for Banfield. Inboard hand pass to Fife. Drew the play and Suey. Release Clark. Kicks towards full forward. Not a great kick. Wiedering comes out. Knocks it away with his legs. It came out to Clark. Then to Taverner. Spills down again towards Brayshaw. Snaps towards goal. Didn't quite have enough purchase on it. Kent last man back. Or beg your pardon. Last man back in there was Boyd. And he takes the mark in the goal square and puts it back into the left back pocket where Kent does mark.
Carlton now exit defensive 50, 2-on-2 awaiting. Ollie Hollands was the intended target. Walker closed him down and forces it into the fencing in front of the Gavin Wanganeen stand. Still to come, the Western Bulldogs and Geelong as part of this doubleheader on Gather Round Saturday. What a magnificent weekend it has been. The Adelaide Oval looks glorious, caked in the sun setting. Toss back into play. Chera hands it out wide. Tumbling kick forward from Carroll. Cut off by Pearce. Mackay only had eyes to run him down. Big tackle. Came out towards Hughes. Now Sharp around the body. Over the head of Jackson. Perfect bounce though for Tracy at the back, who releases Brayshaw from 50. He sends it across the goal face. Little wide and long for Tabner in the end. Wiedering assured he'd edge him underneath the football. And it carries over the back for a boundary throw-in in the left forward pocket.
He's just such a good player, Jacob Wiedering, isn't he? Just not get beaten in 1v1 contest. Such a important piece of the puzzle for Carlton today.
Spun back in. Jackson missed it. Koning waited, knocked it in the direction. Well, the Hollands came it towards McGovern and then goes short to Kemp, who marks in the left back pocket. The Dockers down one fit player on the bench. Frederick out. They'd already made the substitution. Johnson coming off the ground for O'Meara. The Blues made their sub as well. Elijah Hollands is out. He's thrown into the fray. Doesn't mind kicking a goal, as we heard as well. He's got one to his name. The Blues working around their defensive 50. Akers to Sard. Sard continues on, takes a bounce just beyond defensive 50 and then sends it back into the middle of his defensive 50. At centre half back, here's Kemp. They're stuck here at the moment, the Blues. Dogs have structured up well. Comes to McGovern, who marks, and Banfield stands on it. Flares it out towards left half back. Continue to try and find a way through Chera. Stands one of the few remaining bits of sunshine. Left half back for the Blues. They kick towards the outer wing. Big pack up. Mackay got hands to it, couldn't grab it. Spills out to Walker for the Dockers. Gave it to Sharp, hands it back in the direction of Young. And they're happy enough. They're going to take this as a throw in at right half back for Carlton. Let's go downstairs on the boundary. Liz Walsh.
I have to say there is just an electric atmosphere down here at ground level. Looks to be a huge crowd. The hill under the scoreboard looks like it does when there's a showdown, and of course people leaving after this game can hand in their tickets and others can buy them cheaply.
Jackson wins the tap down. Young to Brayshaw, gets it back. Now Sharp. Excellent chain through centre wing on the outer side. The Dockers head up to right half forward. The kick in that direction wasn't great. Little shallow. David Kemp who cuts it off. And the slim bit of sunshine remaining on the Adelaide Oval. Looks to switch it through defensive 50.
They'll all be exiting if they keep playing like this. Tell you what, this is a snooze fest at the moment here from the Baggers. Defending really well though, the Dockers.
Wiedering and Kemp just accumulating disposals back and forth, and finally Kemp decides to take the game on. We've had flashes of frenetic footy, but nothing consistent. Jackson got a launch, couldn't bring it down. The kind umpire may have paid it, but this one's happy to let the game play out. Mackay becomes the tackler, ball comes out. Banfield now head over the footy, barging his way out of a couple. Eventually held up by Kennedy. Will get a ball up on the outer side.
This is where your gut runners really need to come to play. Last 10 minutes here. Try and pick apart some holes, create some options for your teammates.
Fremantle by 4 points. Jackson overhead tap, just wide of Carroll. Cripps fell over. Brayshaw can cash in. Or can he? Gathered it. Handball over the top was a little bit too long for Sharp, and it rolls its way over the boundary line. It'll be tossed back into play. 7-9-51 plays 6-11-47. Aaron Bryans, Clint Wilden, Brett Delidio, Mark Murphy and Liz Walsh with you. Still to come, Lauren Borden, Brett Sprigg, Dean Brogan and Rod Jamieson for the Dogs and the Cats.
One mistake might make all the difference. One bit of brilliant play as Jackson palms it down. Socket off the ground by Brayshaw into a pack. Oh, he's got it again. Thumped it forward towards left half forward. Mackay turns, gathers it, got a hand pass over the top, trying to work his way towards it. Fantasia can't quite gather. Cottrell can. Hands it off to Carroll. Goes off the outside of the boots. Misses. Enormous roar, more in hope than anything else from the Blues fans, but it's across the face. A behind to Carroll. 3 points the difference. Fremantle lead.
We have had an indecisive goal umpire at that end, so maybe they're just trying to sway the decision. Luke Ryan wants to go. Plays on and a long ball to the broadcast wing. Pat converges. Jackson got hands to it. Front and square. Switkowski bowled over by Sard. McGovern comes in with the assist and holds him up.
People listening everywhere. Ben sends me a text saying listening on a flight across the country at 36,000 feet on the ABC Listen app. You can as well. ABC Radio and Sport Digital.
We're everywhere. Cripps takes it out of the ruck contest against Jackson there. Got it to Chera rather. Now Akers a sky ball. Straight up and down. O'Meara was there at the fall of it. Akers wraps him up. Lakers. Nice little combine there, and he's escorted over the boundary line. It'll be tossed back into play right half forward for the Blues. Still down by 3. Plenty of time remaining in this final term, though. Cripps again wins it down, this time against Tracy. Hewitt squeezes one through the pack, rolls its way towards the 50. Walker was waiting. Coughs it up, though, under a bit of pressure. His handball straight to Blake Apers. He's in a sandwich. Just pinballing around at the moment. Throw a blanket over them. Eventually Newman toes it forward. Bouncing up towards the 50. Oh, he's just didn't quite read the bounce. Cripps is now becomes the tackler and wins the free kick.
Yeah, that's one bloke you don't want to take on the tackle is Paddy Cripps. He rarely buys it, and he's an absolute beast.
Crushed that stiff arm, didn't he?
O'Meara trying to break away. Cripps caught him. The skipper sends it to the top of the goal square. Bodies everywhere. Launching Kennedy, couldn't control it. And Clark is wrapped up by a couple of Navy Blues. 25 outside angle to the right. Carlton's attacking 50. A goal would put them in front.
Phil Harry's going to try and take this out of the ruck here.
Throwing up. He does. Mackay tried to get a snap away. It was smothered. Ball up into the air again. Brayshaw got a fist to the footy. Fife tries to meet it. Was held without it as well. Cherry gets a hand pass back inboard. Ryan in the left back pocket for the Dockers. Sends it beyond defensive 50. Tav in front position. Got a hand on him over Kemp. And the ball's across the boundary line for a throw-in. Freo lead by 3 points. It has been an absolute battle, a war of attrition out there between these two sides, as they both look to keep their unbeaten starts to 2024 intact. Tracy wins the ruck contest. Out to Sarong, tackled by Chera immediately. Umpire will board up. Just forward of centre wing for the Blues. Rachel's had 37 disposals today. Clark 30, Sarge with 24. The restart, it comes down to O'Meara. Kicks quickly towards left half forward. 2-on-2 battle. Amos at the back, won it down to Banfield. He was tackled, just got a hand pass away, but it's stolen by Newman. Kicks the Blues towards right half forward. Wonderful kick and a good mark to Curnow.
They're flooding forward, the Blues. Curnow can't seem to find an open option. Held up at right half forward as Fremantle race back. He'll hit and hope towards the top of the goal square. Kennedy again charging out. Whistle. Free kick. There was a hold. And the third gamer, Josh Draper, who's been so good across the afternoon, may have given away a decisive free kick. Matthew Kennedy straight in front, 15 out.
Yeah, it was just half a grab on the jumper, wasn't it? Half a second, just alerted the umpire that there was a pull and a tug.
Jeez, it's stiff. And a big call in a big moment.
Soft.
Yeah.
Kennedy comes in. Jackpot! The Blues are in front for the first time since the 21-minute mark of the third term. We've got our fifth lead change of the night. 7:12:54, play 7:9:51. Still 7 minutes to go. Strap yourselves in. A grandstand finish coming up on ABC Sport.
Well, it's a harsh lesson for a young bloke to learn here. Like, they had nothing. They'd done so well to defend the Dockers there. They'd all flooded back. There was just a kick in hope.
It was actually the first time that Charlie Curnow hasn't just rolled and gone, and it's probably the only time you want him to do it.
Just that one right hand underneath as he tried to get an arm inside into his chest to get separation. Kennedy on Draper, he's just reached and grabbed.
Yeah.
And the umpires, they're watching that all the time.
You just can't grab a jumper.
You cannot. You got to back in your athleticism, which he has done all day. Tough lesson to learn.
Advantage Carlton. Bounce of the footy again. Koenig wins it down. Here's Fife. Fremantle superstar short to Jackson. Works it on towards Sarong. Kick towards left half forward. Current showing back from Akers, but it was down there for Switkowski to gather. On the logo, gave it to Sarong. Kicks to Jackson. Nicely weighted pass, and Jackson marks. He's at left half forward. Pops it in the direction of O'Meara, and he marks. 50 out from goal. It was on for Banfield in the left forward pocket. O'Meara couldn't quite either see him or get it to him.
As well, manning of the mark there from Nick Newman.
He got an extra metre, didn't he?
He did, but he got there quick as well, which forced O'Meara to go back. He couldn't quite pull the trigger. If he kicks it over, he probably gets punched out of bounds.
So here is Jager O'Meara. Wheels onto the right. He'll set it up towards the teeth of goal. Big pack up. De Koning off hands. Banfield went out after it. Sharp! Oh my goodness! From right full forward, Jeremy Sharp. He kicks the goal. Picked up in the pre-season supplemental draft after being delisted by Gold Coast. He's given Fremantle back the lead as we head to time on in this final term. The Dockers are 8:9:57. The Blues are 7:12:54. Goodness me, what a game. Gather round on ABC Sport. It deserved one this round. It's got one right now. A beauty.
Well, clean, good goal, but just poor defensive mindset there from Carlton. They just ball washed, and rather than just standing next to your man and covering off those outlets or those opportunities, there was almost 2 or 3 Fremantle guys who were basically standing there in space.
Yeah.
And you just can't afford to play Russian roulette, especially when you're in such a tight game and it's been an arm wrestle all day. And you let yourself down with a decision to come off your man.
Blow for blow go these undefeated sides. Fremantle up by 3. Jackson wins it down. Trickle past Carroll. Sarong gets the exit. A handball back to the Brownlow medalist, Nat Fife. Now Young. Long ball for the Dockers inside 50. Amos cleaned up. Late defender Wiedering came across. Almost coat hanging him with a stray arm. Whistle stayed away, and in the end we're going to get a ball up as Taberner falls into the footy and Williams on top of him. We're 25 out from goal for the Dockers, straight in front. Amos has popped back up. Jackson's got into the ruck. taps it in the path of Switkowski. Taberner cuts across, managed to knock it towards Jackson. Snaps low to the top of the goal square. Amos nearly reeled it in from behind. He had 2 to beat, and in the end, he's become the tackler. Umpire circles, holding the ball.
Trouble.
The Blues are begging to get away with it, but ultimately their prayers will go unanswered. Sonny Walters catches Brodie Kemp straight in front, 10 out.
And he's arguing and carrying on a little bit, Kemp, but mate, we all know you dive on that footy and someone dives on top of you, you drag, it's as plain as the nose on your face. He's dragged that one straight back under. He's saying, I haven't got it. He's hatching it like a chicken. Unfortunately for young Brodie, Sonny Walters has got a shot right in front.
Blood rule delaying things here.
You just can't, when you're on the ground, you can't take possession of the football.
You've got to do everything you can to knock it out, don't you?
It was just so obvious when you grab it with one arm and you're laying on the ground that you're always going to be in trouble. And he ended up not even having the ball, but the damage was done.
It was so obvious. It was like one of those hungry hippos where you reach out and drag it back in.
Yes.
So Kemp off with the blood rule. Michael Walters has the set shot to make it a 2-goal game. In the setting sun at the northern end, Sonny Walters strikes. Fremantle are up by 9. 9-9-63. Plays 7-12-54. Just under 5 minutes remain in this main event on Gather Round Saturday in Adelaide. Aaron Bryans, Clint Wilden calling the action, breaking it all down. Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy.
Well, they're going to have to kick 2 goals here, so they're going to have to throw a bit of caution to the wind when they do get the opportunity to use the football. They can't just afford to go sideways and be methodical at this point in time. There's still 5 minutes to go, but the way in which they're defended today, Fremantle, it's going to be pretty hard to get 2 quick goals here.
Well, it's all been around the clearances, hasn't it? And that clearance just then from the centre was so telling. It's been smacking him today. What is it, 43-24 Fremantle's way? That's a hiding.
Yep. Never been a bigger differential than 9 points between the two sides. The Dockers 12 points. The Dockers currently up by 9. The Blues bring it away out of the middle. Control Desard takes a bounce, has to stop it right half forward. In front of him was Jackson. Kicks long inside the attacking 50. Big pack up. No one can take the mark. Clark got it down towards Pearce for the Dockers. Sent it up the corridor. Beautiful gather by Tracy right at the bootlaces. Hand passes back to Young. Gives it to Brayshaw. Kicks the Dockers to the outer wing. Running with the flight of the football and then marking as it fell over his left shoulder was Walters. Couple of metres in from the boundary line. Sends it forward. He wanted Tracy. Pressure came at the back. Beautifully done by Boyd. Gathers for Carlton. Spots a player free in Akers and he marks it left half forward.
Plenty of options to choose from. He opts for Curnow. Charging out in the left forward pocket. Lace out. Tight angle. 35 from home.
Hold on, bottom Boyd. Get to him. He just did not give up on that play with Tracy looking like about to take a chest mark. Jesus, a late whistle. You could almost pay that, but well done. Stayed involved, sold a bit of candy. That's the best bit of ball movement Carlton have nearly had all day.
And it was work rate from Blake Akers to provide the next option. Then beautiful kick to Charlie Curnow.
Had 3 goals on the Dockers last year in their monster win. They need him now, and he cannot deliver. Through the right-hand side for a minor score. Fremantle's lead dwindled down to 8 points. 9-9-63 plays 7-13-55.
Oh, Ryan dangerous into the left back pocket, stretching for an ace. Oh, he's got there, then tackled by Pearce, and that's holding the ball. Oh, there would have been nervous moments for Fremantle just for a second. Good tackle from Pearce too. Ryan maybe biting off a little more than you need to chew at this time of the proceedings.
How good's this bloke been all day?
Yeah, he's been a monster all season.
He's blanketed Harry Mackay today.
Alex Pearce has been immense for Fremantle this year. Kicks towards the commentary wing. No mark taken. Taberner went up. Ball hits the deck. Hollins tries to work it out. Couldn't do so first time. And then emerging with a trucking and tackle. Williams did really well. Kicks Carlton towards full forward. Decent battle here. Oh, Curnow! Up against Draper. Caressed the ball into his chest with his right arm. He marks right in front. And he knows times are ticking. so he goes back to take his kick. He'll put boot to ball from no more than 25 out. Curnow is looking for his third. He keeps the Blues right in this game. 3 for Curnow. Freo's lead is 2 points. It looked like it was going to be the game of gather round. It's delivered in spades. Fremantle 9-9-63. Carlton 8-13-61. And we've travelled remarkably 26 minutes in the final term. The Dockers still lead by 2. Liz Walsh is on the boundary.
More pain for Fremantle on the bench too, with Sam Switowski having ice taped onto his right calf. So it looks like they're down to 2 on the bench.
Well, that's why you pay your big name players, don't you? Zachy Williams, bit of brilliance to get through and get out, to break that line. And that's why
just to get 5 or 6 yards in front of the contest, wasn't it? So then he could get it deep to Charlie Curnow. If he released the ball when he first got it, he wouldn't have got it there.
Yep.
Williams has copped a corky as well, so he's made his way to the bench. How will it fall? Fremantle currently lead by 2. De Koning taps it down. Young tried to pounce, couldn't gather. De Koning will get the exit. Bangs it up to half forward, sliding in Clark, courageous. Ricocheted off his shins. Cripps caught in the tackle. Comes out to Carlton though. Fogarty to Chera, inside 50. Tracy in the hole, should have taken it. Spilt it. Carlton swarm. Mackay goes to ground. Can't get back to his feet. Set upon by numerous Dockers. Ball up to come. 40 out, slightly left of centre.
There won't be any fingernails left in Adelaide Oval. Both sets of fans will be chewing on them. Jackson palmed it down for the Dockers, still in their defensive 50. Young looked to work it out. Trying to dive on it. Hollins.
Gone. Nah.
Thought for a moment he could have been in strife then instead.
It just came out. Gave him an out. Gave the umpire an out.
Buoyed the other player around that mark. It's thrown up again. De Koning, beautiful tap down. Straight into traffic though. The defence has been incredible. The pressure from both sides immense. The moment Owies received it, he was met by Walker. Wrapped up, ball up again. It's still inside the Blues forward 50. Jackson looked to slap it forward. Taken then by Hewitt. Kicked around the body. Coming out to Mark Cottrell. There's a little bit of discussion here.
I thought it was definitely touched, but the umpire didn't call it.
No. So Cottrell will go back. Certainly the Dockers players were pleading that it was touched on the way through. The kick from Hewitt around the body wasn't touched on the way to Cottrell.
It's heartbreaking.
They have been known against Fremantle, the Blues, haven't they?
Yep, they certainly have. Oh, with the noise of the crowd, you can hardly go against it.
Matthew Cottrell comes in. This could give Carlton the win. He kicks the goal. He's got his second. The Blues celebrate. They lead again by 4 points. It's Carlton 9-13-67 to 9-9-63. There is still just time for one more push from the Dockers. But what a beauty this has been. Gather round on ABC Sport.
Surely Charlie Curnow's got to go to a wing here and get behind the ball. Well, they've currently got 7 forwards, Carlton. So one of them needs to go to the wing, and it should be Charlie Curnow.
Yeah, they've got a spare wing out the far side of the ground.
What are they doing here?
The umpire's talking.
Are they giving another shot?
All I can suggest is that
there's
been a free kick given away from Fremantle, which is absolute madness if that has happened and a player has been pushed over, because they would have had chance for one more shot, and now Kennedy can go back.
Do you have a shot here or just kick it around when you get 40 seconds?
What
would you do?
Have the shot, don't you?
I reckon you have to have the shot.
Yeah.
Someone has either pushed someone over or someone has said something, and it would be for dissent. Without seeing the incident, because my eyes went back to the middle of the park, I've no doubt we'll see it again in a moment. He comes through, and the Blues are going to win. Kennedy kicks the goal. There's no time left for Fremantle now. He's got another. And the Blues in this heavyweight battle where they've gone toe-to-toe are going to emerge with the 4 points and remain unbeaten in 2024. Carlton weighed 10 points, 10-13-73 to Fremantle's 9-9-63. There will be bewildered people around the ground who didn't see what that was for. But all I can imagine, someone's been shoved over or something has been said.
Yeah, we're the same, Clint. We've got no idea up here in the box. We're only guessing as well, but well done to Carlton, I suppose. But yeah, you feel a bit robbed as a Freo supporter.
Pandemonium at the Adelaide Oval for all the wrong reasons. In the middle, Fremantle trying to get a late surge. Bouncing off a couple of bodies. Chera looks to get the exit, missed the boot on the ball drop. Whistle stays away. Aish overruns the footy. Brayshaw dives in, Cripps on top of him. Will get a ball up close to right half forward for the Blues. It's been an incredible seesawing affair between these two undefeated sides. But Carlton outlast another contender. For the first time since their last premiership, Carlton are 4-0. They're channeling the famous old dark blues as they surge their way towards September. Carlton winners by 10 points.
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. We're all the champions they like to send up. We'll keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark blues.
It was the slimmest of margins all afternoon in a seesawing affair, tough contested finals-like football. Fremantle led by a point at quarter time, 3 at the half and 9 at three-quarter time before Carlton kicked the last 3 goals to surge away winners by 10 points. It's their first ever victory at the Adelaide Oval. 3 goals to Curnow, 2 to Kennedy and Cottrell, singles to Chera, Cripps and Owies. Carlton eyeing off a date in September early this season. Can anyone stop the Navy Blues?
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. With all the champions they like to send up, we'll keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark blues.
So Carlton win in what was the most controversial of finishes. Carlton won't mind, but one thing that they do continue to do is win these close ones yet again. 1 point over Brisbane, 5 points over Richmond, and now 10 points over the Dockers. And it took 2 goals, both with a little bit of controversy about them, to see the Blues get over the Dockers. 10-13-73 to 9-9-63. Mark Murphy knows a thing or two about kicking a late goal and seeing the Blues get home. He's done it himself, and he's seen Jack Newnes do it against Fremantle as well. But I'm not sure either of those were quite as dramatic and controversial as what we've just seen.
No, Matty Cottrell adds his name to a great list of players who've done Fremantle late in games, but it was unfortunately it was controversial because it was certainly a touch ball that Matty Cottrell marked, but that happens sometimes in football. The one thing I was disappointed about was not seeing Fremantle get an opportunity with 40 seconds to go to try and win the game. I'm not too sure what the infringement was for, if it was someone getting pushed or if there was some verbal altercation. I reckon it might have been that because there was a lot of...
There have to be a bit of verbal, I would have thought.
Yeah, because there's a lot of players that were talking to the umpire about it being touched, so you probably feel that someo's probably crossed the line and gone too hard at the umpire.
You've cost us or something along those lines, I would have thought.
Sounds like it was the veteran Matt Stevic who made the call as well.
Right.
So
okay.
Whatever the decision was, you'd probably back him in considering his experience.
Yeah, well, it's like, well, we'll let you get away with a little bit. I understand your frustration, but if you overstep that line, then you pay the penalty, and they did, But I suppose you got to tip your cap a little bit to one Fremantle and the way they played the game. I thought they defended incredibly well, but then for those two boys to kick those 2 goals, I know they're directly in front, but you've still got to kick the goals to put your side in front there. The Charlie Curnow mark going inside forward 50 as well, like that's a couple of big moments.
So when a free kick is occurred or has occurred after a goal, it's either taken from the middle of the ground or from where the free kick happened, and so therefore it has to have happened because whatever's more disadvantageous to the offending team. So whatever's happened has happened right down there where the incident occurred. I think it has to be descent. I don't know. I've seen a replay where no one goes to the ground. So there's obviously hasn't been a push and shove where there's a free kick being called for that. So someone from Fremantle, and it was controversial because the Dockers were absolutely convinced the ball through to Cottrell had been touched. I think it was Aish. I think it was Aish on the way through. They were convinced it was touched on the way through. And the replay suggested it probably was. So in the heat of the moment, and I'm not, by the way, encouraging dissent. You can't have a go at the umpire. Someone, I reckon, has said something.
Have to.
Someone's gone too far. And you need to show respect to the umpires.
I agree with that.
You want umpires who are young kids who want to be umpires to obviously take the game forward, because you don't want kids who are thinking about being umpires who get abused and they don't want to do it anymore.
And it's cost Fremantle, and that's where you go back to, as tough as it is in that moment, the professionalism is, look, that's gone against us. We've got one more shot. They would know, because we know the messages go out, they would know they would have had enough time. There was about 40 seconds left. So you have to be professional there. Go, look, we'll win it down and we'll do our best from that moment.
But I mean,
heartbreaking for them.
Umpires get it right, they get it wrong all over throughout the whole game, but players do as well. I mean, the Dockers had 2 opportunities to kick it inside forward 50. It gets cut off earlier in that game, which gives them more chance shot on goal. It is what it is. I mean, yes, they live and die by that last little a few moments when Carlton are really coming hard, but they're going to be lessons learned. No doubt Justin Longmuir will go through it in great detail to understand what happened, because they smothered them late, didn't they, the Blues, and that's where ultimately they got the job done. A couple of moments from some good players in Zachy Williams getting through that little bit of traffic there, but Charlie Curnow take that big mark, Matt Cottrell in the right spot, right time, but it was just a weight of numbers. They just could not defend for, as long as they could.
It's no fluke too, Carlton winning these tight games. They're doing it time and time again, aren't they? They're just getting the basics done well when the game requires it, when the game's on the line, and their big players are stepping up. And we saw Charlie Curnow do it this week. Matt Cottrell taking that grab and going back and kicking it from directly in front. Harry Mackay did it against Brisbane in round 1. So they're a couple of their key targets who they probably didn't have great days. Charlie ends up kicking 3. I think he did.
3-2.
So he's ended up playing his role, but he probably had a dirty day. First half, he was nowhere near it, but he had his moments and he made them count when it really mattered. And that's where they're getting the job done at the moment, Carlton, in the last periods of game when it can go one of 2 ways, and they're continually now showing us that they're up for the fight and they're getting the job done in these close games.
Corby hasn't let me down. I knew it was another close one. I didn't know the numbers. Corby Middlemass just on the tweet. Carlton 9-0 in the last 9 games, decided by 10 points or less. They just find a way.
It's good, isn't it?
Cardiac kicks.
That's good.
Shows you that they've got great belief. They're planning to in those moments,
and they're not humming at the moment.
It's standing up.
That's the thing. I don't feel like they're really firing on all cylinders. Still got Walsh to come back into that team.
And they look organised when the game's on the line. So they're directing one another. They continually talk about just playing their role, and I know we hear that from the really good sides over the years. Is they reward role players and they understand clarity of role, but when you're winning games, these tight games, and you're continually doing it, you're obviously there's real clarity and there's real understanding of what's required from each individual at any given time.
Wow. Take a breath, wherever you happen to be, as the Carlton song rings around Adelaide Oval one more time. The Blues, all waiting downstairs, will head down into the rooms with Liz Walsh for the song in just a moment. But what a way to get home. Fremantle led by 1 point at quarter time, by 3 points at the half by 9 points at three-quarter time, but went down by 10 points, which I go back to what Justin Longmuir said in the post-game last week when there were discussions about they hadn't won opening quarter this year. Doesn't matter if you're in front at the end. Well, Fremantle won their first opening term of the year and then lost when it mattered most, when the siren sounded. The Blues by 10 points, 10-13-73 to Fremantle's 9-63. By the way, the Fremantle goal kickers as well to tidy things up. Emmett with 2 singles to Walters, to Sharp, Taberner, Amos, Tracy, Switkowski and Banfield. Sard had it 25 times, Chera 24. Curnow with 3 goals, Cottrell with 2, Kennedy with 2, and those players kicking them when it mattered most. Let's throw downstairs Liz Walsh.
Who are all just clapping at the moment and cheering and very excited. And here we go, the new dad, Patrick Cripps, is leading them into the change rooms. There are smiles everywhere and cheering and clapping. And here they go, coming in. Harry Mackay and coach Michael Voss, the last to arrive in the rooms, getting together for the song now. Here we go.
Good luck. Our best part to start, 3, 2, 1. We're all the champions, let's send us rolling friends up, and know that they've been playing against the famous old dark blue.
There you have it, and we'll be back to talk with Kennedy. Been offered him as the interview tonight, which is great because we can clarify exactly what happened with that last goal, and we'll be back really soon.
All right, Liz, back to you in just a moment. Aaron Bryans has been forensically looking through the evidence. What have you found?
Wound back the tape, Lynn. Alex Wedden was the umpire who made the call, I believe, has umpired over 100 AFL games, so he's an experienced umpire. Came in during the Matt Kennedy set shot that occurred at the 29-minute mark, essentially within seconds after he had kicked it. The man on the mark, Jordan Clark, is where Alex Wedden has charged into and immediately paid a free kick, which we can only assume would be for dissent then.
So after the Cottrell shot on goal?
No, this is after the Kennedy original one.
Oh, did he kick 2 in a row?
He kicked 2 in a row.
Oh, right. I missed that.
So,
sorry, no, it was the Cottrell.
No,
yeah, you're right.
I was confused. It
Yeah,
was definitely the Cottrell. So it was the complaint was about whether or not the kick to Cottrell was touched on the way through.
Yeah,
I think it was, but
and that's where the dissent came up.
The vision looks like that kick has ricocheted off the bicep of James Aish.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, well,
so
clutching a little bit, but yeah.
I mean, Fremantle would have every right to be unhappy, and their fans would have every right to be filthy. But if Jordan Clark, and he was the player being spoken to by the umpire, has said something untoward, then while you've got every right to be unhappy and to say what happened there, you have still cost yourself one more chance to roll the dice. And we'd seen Freo throughout the game, at least on one occasion.
There were 40 seconds left on the clock.
That's right. Respond with an immediate goal.
Yep.
So, yeah, look, that's the curse of being professional under those circumstances. You have to keep your cool. I reckon he'd be furious. People out there would have said, look, that's touched Aish. Aish would have been saying it's touched me. There would have been some people, I doubt you would have heard it from where it was kicked, but there would have been enough people around to know what had happened. But that choice in that moment has cost Fremantle any chance of getting back. But it's been a cracking game, ugly at times, but a cracking contest.
I haven't seen an umpire change his decision yet, Clint.
No.
No matter how much you argue.
No, they don't tend to.
Oh, you know what? You're right there, Brett. I think I might change my mind here.
Tell you what, Liz, it's not going to do Carlton any favours because the majority of the rest of the country is going to think the AFL's on their bandwagon because they've been given a gift here.
Yeah, that's true. But like the defenders were all day from Fremantle, they could have been right up their backside of Cottrell and spoiled it. You know, they weren't, and they got a mark. So it is what it is. You learn by it and you try and be better next time.
And I think the credit also has got to go to the Blues. At 9 points late in the game, with Fremantle defending so well for so long and goals being so hard to come by, you said it, Mark, but the belief that they had that they would find a way to conjure something up.
Yeah, and I spoke about a few individuals who stood up when they needed to. And Charlie had a poor first half, but he just wanted to assert himself on the contest, and he did that with that mark, that one-handed grab, and to go back and kick the goal to put them back in within 2 or 3 points. That's why they're paid the big money. They're superstars, and he understood the moment, and he stood up when it required.
You asked the question about why he didn't start, Matt Owies, but when it comes to inserting a sub and getting a response, goodness me, the Blues got that, didn't they, with what he was able to do and the energy that he brings when he kicks a goal. He had an impact right around the ground.
Yeah, he does. And I was surprised because he probably only gets 5 to 7 touches a game, but he kicks 2 goals usually a game and just does the right things when it's required. So, and again, he did it when he got his opportunity today.
Blues by 10 points. Let's go down into the rooms. Liz Walsh is with the player who kicked the sealer for us, and that's Matt Kennedy. Liz.
That's right. Thanks very much. I understand it's also your birthday today, which makes everything even more exciting for you. But talk us through what happened at the end of the game there.
Yeah, I think a few Freo players were unhappy with the old touch decision and mark from Cottrell, so I think there was just a bit of abuse. So I was fortunate enough. I was walking back to the goal square and the umpire called me for a free kick, and I was actually a bit confused. I said, what's that for? He said dissent, and I was the closest man to it, so got a nice little cheapie there for the birthday. So yeah, can't complain, but had a great win and just a great resilient effort and fight from the boys. It probably wasn't our best footy, but great growth from the group to be able to hang in there and give ourselves a chance.
So what's going through your head on your birthday when you kicked the winning goal, really?
Well, there was enough boys screaming that in my ear. I'm still a little bit deaf from big Tom DeConnie and screamed it in my ear. So it was just, highly, a lot of adrenaline, that's for sure. So it was a pretty cool moment and still on a bit of a high here down in the room. So definitely it's always hard to win any game at AFL, so we always enjoy the wins. And the next half an hour is always awesome. So looking forward to celebrate with teammates. And fortunate enough, Mum and Dad drove all the way from Wagga today, so it's good to be able to see them.
And your first win at Adelaide Oval as well, and after last year's gather round loss, which Michael Voss really wanted you to put behind you tonight. How did you see the game play out in that kind of way?
We spoke about it a little bit pre-game, but obviously for us it was about trying to play our way, and we knew Freo, the way they wanted to play, they were probably wanting to possess the ball around, and they probably played their game style for majority of the game. So it was a bit disappointing, but I thought just from our point of view, the way we were able to hang in there and our pressure and our resilience to stay in the game, to give ourselves a chance, just probably through our desperation and grit more than anything. So I think that's quite pleasing. Plenty of growth to come out from this game, but you take nothing away from Freo. Look, they're a terrific side, and they were very tough in the contest, and they spread the ground well and possessed the ball well. So full credit to them, but we'll take a lot of learnings out of this game because it was a hard-fought win, but we don't want to be winning like that all the time, that's for sure.
Let's head up to our experts in Mark Murphy and Brett Delidio.
Happy birthday, Chugger. You talk about
Thanks,
some of your learnings from today. What's your gut feel about the way in which you went about it today? It probably was a bit of a scrappy affair, but to be able to get the last 5 minutes right when you're 9 points down, where's the mindset go from the group? When it's required, you talk about role players and standing up when it's your opportunity. There's no fluke when you've won the last 9 under 10 points. So you're obviously doing something right.
Well, I think it probably comes back to the way we train. We train these moments.
Dolphins won on the weekend. Let's go.
Sorry about Charlie Chugger. He's just a bit up and about. I think you get a lot of confidence from the way we train. We train a lot of moments where it's we want to save the game and win the game. So, funny enough, we done a bit of fire earlier on in the week, which was a nice little coincidence. But I think at three-quarter time as well, Vossi just touched on, if we want to lose, we sort of want to lose the right way. We want to keep going for it, attack the game. Take the game off a bit. We don't want to die wondering. So I think that gave the boys a lot of confidence just to back in their footy decisions, their footy smarts, and just really play the game.
Bam, it's Lids here, mate. I'll back you all the way to nail that last one, mate. Beautiful kick of the footy, but I want to talk about your back line.
Snuck in, mate.
Yeah, I know. But I was backing you, buddy.
Thanks, mate.
Your back line, mate, super solid tonight. I thought the return of Jake Wiedering down there, mate, just really solidifies that back line for you guys. But it's also then the role players in camp and Boydie down there as well that just add to what he's able to do and really give you boys some drive off that back line.
Yeah, Wieders is, like you sort of touched on, he's a real general down there and just lets other boys sort of play to their strengths. I think there's a number of boys growing with confidence and playing together obviously definitely helps. And I suppose we got Zachy Williams back as well who adds a lot of run and dash off the back flank. But, Kempy's growing and growing in confidence every week. Obviously had a bit of a tough time there when Wieders was out, but I think him and Wieders really worked well together and they got a good strong connection there. But as you said, Boydie had some great moments in that last 5 minutes where he won big contests and was able to get the ball going forward for us. So I think the more we play in these sort of matches and big games, big moments, boys keep stepping up, and I think that's great for confidence because no matter how hard you train these moments, it's hard to replicate in game.
Now, it was a bit clunky tonight, but how far off you getting back to your best footy do you feel you are? Or is it just going to be a work in progress, building that belief that you've already spoken about, get back hopefully Sammy Walsh in the next few weeks? Is that what's going to help you boys get back to the form of late last year?
Yeah, definitely. Walshy adds so much to our midfield that the way he's able to sort of break those lines. But I think you've got to sort of play to your strengths and the team you got in, and right now it's probably that bit more crash and bash. So, look, boys are still getting their role done in there, but obviously you've got to sort of... Yeah, crash and bash. Sorry, mate. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But look,
there's a few players, Matt, that you could have given a kiss to the way they played today. They were outstanding.
Yeah, and look, full credit to Freo. They probably didn't allow us to play to our best or to our strengths, but it's still early in the year and there's still a lot of growth. And it's just pleasing to be able to get the 4 points early on in the year when you're not playing your best footy.
These things, it's Clint Wilden, by the way, these things are only funny when you win, but what was said to Harry Mackay with that, I've not seen it before, someone of his skills just completely missing his foot when he was running in on goal.
Yeah, it's one of those ones you don't really mention it during the game, but I'll be sure to. I think a few boys will be sure to give him a bit of flick for it now that we got the jockeys.
Tell us a little bit about what it's like around Carlton at the moment after having such a great start to the season.
Obviously, you can definitely hear the support and the noise from our fans, which is awesome. And we think we've got a great supporter base. They're so passionate. It's great to see them travel wherever we go, whether it's Adelaide, Perth, Gold Coast, Brizzy, we always get a great crowd, so it's just awesome to sort of play in big games every week, it feels, because we get such great support. But at the minute, Vossi's very level-headed. We know we haven't been sort of playing our best footy, so he won't let us get ahead of ourselves, that's for sure. He's very much process-driven, and I think tonight, as much as we didn't play our way, he's big on enjoying the wins, but it definitely wasn't our brand of footy, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of growth areas to improve on from this game.
How excitable is your captain after playing today, getting a goal, and of course the arrival of his daughter during the week?
Yeah, he's had a big week, the big fella, but I think it just shows you how good he is to be able to put that aside and come out and perform like he did is incredible. But it's pretty special. You're seeing a lot more kids around the club, which is very exciting. I think that's just sort of showing the age and the maturity of the group. Boys are starting to grow up and have a few kids, so it's all exciting. Seeing so many young little kids getting around. But congrats to him and Mon, and if Mon, if you're listening, well done.
Matty, Aaron Bryans here. You mentioned before about the travelling Blues, and they were loud and supportive tonight. You were here last year playing the Adelaide Crows on the Thursday night, and we've heard a lot across the week about the advantage the South Australian clubs get as a result of Gather Round. How different was it from that matchup to now this afternoon, where essentially you were the home side?
Yeah, look, the Adelaide fans, they're quite wild and passionate, that's for sure. So last year, it definitely was hard, but I think tonight, it definitely helps just to be able to run out the game late, especially, and we're able to get over the line, thank God. But it was probably lucky we did have Freo, I guess, but they were a bloody tough side, so we're very happy with the 4 points.
You had a bit of relief there in your voice. The 0-7 record at the Adelaide Oval, was there any discussion about that in the build-up to this week? Do you feel like you've shaken that hoodoo?
Yeah, a little bit. It was more just we probably haven't come here and performed the way we would like to without pressure and attack on the footy. So I think more of the emphasis was on that, our contest and pressure. And look, I still don't think we 100% nailed it tonight, but we're lucky to learn with a win under the belt, which is good.
Take a deep breath like the rest of us did, Matt. Congratulations on the win. What a win it was. Well done to you and the Blues.
Thank you very much.
Matthew Kennedy downstairs. He kicked the one that made absolutely sure of it for Carlton. They jump up into third spot, 16 points to their name. They're 4-4. They played one less game than Melbourne and Sydney, who are ahead of them. Their percentage, though, a little bit less, 123.2, but they are unbeaten. Another unbeaten side coming up, the Western Bulldogs versus Geelong. It's the Cats, who are 3 from 3 up against the Dogs, who are 2-1 so far. If you want to send us a text, we've got a few minutes to go through them. 0437 774 774. We need the votes for the ABC Footballer of the Year, and also, with the WA team involved, the Christian Medal. So the best 3 players from the Fremantle Dockers as well. So if a Fremantle player gets 1 vote, they can just shuffle across into the Christian Medal votes as well. Get to those in just a second. Michael says the rule of 2 goals in a row without going back to the middle of the ground is wrong. It should be a free kick back in the middle. Well, that is the rule. I'm not sure about that. I mean, the descent happened. The free kick is given where the descent happens if it is more disadvantageous to the team that's given it away, or it happens in the middle of the ground, for example. So if you're running back after a goal and someone shoves someone over at full back, the free kick's taken from the middle of the ground. In this case, it happens from where the kick was on goal. I'm not sure. I think in things like what we've seen, you probably deserve to give away a second goal.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big issue. Like, you hardly ever see it. Leave the rule the way in which it is and adjudicate it the way in which it was today for all Carlton people anyway. But
it stops the next bloke doing it.
Yep.
If you want to know how football fans are absolutely divided on any topic that you ever care to mention and ever care to name, here we go. 2 texts, one after the other. Jeff says, greetings from the Kimberley in WA. It's sad to see umpires these days have so much influence on the scoreboard. I believe it's hurting the game. I hope the Pies have a great win. Thank you, Jeff. And on the flip side, Pete from Ballarat. Well, that comes as a shock. The West Australians unhappy. The Victorians go to say this. G'day all. Not just in this game, but one umpiring decision does not change the result of the game. Never. They played for 2 hours, 2 and a bit. They all missed goals that should have been kicked. They all gave up goals. So this often repeated thing about the ump cost us is a guaranteed one-way street to not winning a flag for any side that lets themselves believe it. That's Pete from Ballarat.
I think all supporters like to blame, don't they?
Yeah.
So if it doesn't go their way, they like to blame someone. That's just the way in which we are as football fans.
I'm absolutely prepared to say if you're a Fremantle Dockers fan, you're allowed to go home and feel a little bit sore about how the result happened.
Yep.
But it wasn't the umpires that cost you.
Don't tweet anyone, please. Don't text anyone. Just be upset.
No. Oh, well, that's true. That's very true. Well, don't text us. Anyway, let's get the votes. ABC Footballer of the Year and the Christian Medal. Who's responsible, gents?
I'm responsible. We're sort of a package deal here. We've got Jeremy Sharp gets the 1 vote for mine today. He had 655 metres gained, had the 7 inside 50s. I thought he ran hard all day and really broke the lines and was a main reason why they scored quite a few opportunities.
Played his wing really well.
Yeah, and Brayshaw's the other one that will get a vote too, but their wings are so important in the way in which they use the football. But I thought he was terrific today. Jeremy Sharp kicking 1 goal as well and having the 29 disposals. I thought Jacob Wiedering was the best Carlton player today. Yep. He got 2 votes. He just is just a pillar of strength for that defence and just makes that side so much better having him back there in that last line of defence. He just refuses to be beaten in 1v1 contests and makes other players around him so much better. And you saw Brodie Kemp today have another terrific game, and he's a much better player because of all the work that Jacob Wiedering does. So he was terrific today for Carlton. Jacob Wiedering gets the 2 votes, and I thought Angus Brayshaw, I thought he was terrific today. He had the 38 disposals, had the 4 clearances, 6 inside 50s, but I thought his just ability to find space and be a link player for Fremantle is crucial, and I thought he was easily best on ground.
So that makes it pretty easy for the Christian Medal. 3 votes to Andy Brayshaw, so he gets the 3. Jeremy Sharp gets the 2. We need a 1 vote for the Christian Medal for the best Eagles or Dockers player. Who picks that one up, gents?
Well, I thought probably Jordan Clark.
Get the
Get the next vote. So They were very, very handy, those three players.
James Aish also pretty good as well. But
that was probably one of the better games I've seen James Aish play. I thought he was terrific today.
So, repeating the ABC Football of the Year, 3 to Andrew Brayshaw, 2 to Jacob Wiedering, and 1 vote to Jeremy Sharp. Fremantle victorious, Carlton victorious, 10-13-73 to Fremantle's 9-9-63. The Blues by 10 points earlier today. Sydney by 26 over the West Coast Eagles, 15-14-104 to the Eagles, 11-12-78. The Bulldogs and Geelong coming up very shortly. If you're listening on ABC Radio on digital, you're about to head back to regular programming. So we'll say farewell to our listeners in just a few moments. Everybody else will be sticking around for Geelong versus the Bulldogs, wherever you happen to be. If you're on analog on ABC Radio or streaming on the ABC Listen app, looking out for the AFL button, you'll be sticking here. Brett Sprigg will be hosting all that for you as well. So Carlton make it 4-0 to start this season against the Dockers, who dropped their first game of the year. Amazing how things can change. It was this time last year when Carlton got smacked by Adelaide and then fell apart. Lost 8 of their next 9. And now, to be 4-0, the season sets itself up and they have a game that really, on current form, they should win. They've got the Crows next at the Docklands. Things look bright if you're a Blue.
Yeah, I think that's the key, is that they haven't played. I don't feel like they've played their best footy just yet. Not from what we saw late last year anyway. So to bank 4 wins already it's huge for the Blues. You just hope that, they all understand that we've still got some road to make up in terms of where we're actually to what we want to get to. We're going to have to tighten a few things up, which Matty Kennedy alluded to, didn't he, when he was talking to us. So yeah, there's room for improvement there, but you'd be absolutely stoked if you look at the win-loss column and it's 4 and the duck egg.
I want you, with your Carlton background, though, to assess Fremantle quickly for us in 40 seconds or so.
They're defensively really sound. I think they're going to cause a lot of issues for a lot of teams this year, and especially having for teams having to go over West and beat them on their home deck is going to be very, very difficult. I love their midfield. I think they can be probably more attacking by the sort of talent they've got going through there, but I think they're probably one big key target that they really need to try and get over the next season, I think. But I think Jai Mist's a good player, but he needs a big bear forward that they can really rely upon.
That's the voice of Mark Murphy. With him was Brett Delidio. I know Corby normally sits here. It's been good fun. I've enjoyed it.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Good luck, chaps. Aaron Bryans, before you depart.
Just to rub some salt into the Dockers fans' wounds, I've seen the slow motion replay. James Aish is quite muscly toned and defined. It's ricocheted off of his tricep, and you can see his actual muscle move off the kick of George Hewitt before it landed in the lap of Cottrell. So Freo defenders were rightfully aggrieved for it, but they've given away the game in the process.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll be talking about on Extra Time, our new show on ABC Perth and WA, starting at 7 o'clock on Monday. Call in, let us know. For everybody else, stick around. Gather Round continues on ABC Footy. Up next, it should be an absolute ripper. Brett Sprigg to take you through what should be another classic. It's the Western Bulldogs versus Geelong. Thanks for your company, with the Blues beating the Dockers by 10 points.